Finally. Good afternoon, my Teaser King family. It was extremely slow today, and my foot's a little bit better. I don't know what it is, if it's gout or I actually hurt my foot. I always have that problem with gout. It feels like you broke the damn thing, and then it changes places, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, okay. Guess I didn't break it. What else is going on? So, kind of laid away this weekend. I apologize, but we'll recap everything today. I'm going to talk about the first scene in Rounders and analyze it, how the guy made the mistake to lose all his money. It was a terrible. He went against exactly what it says. I got a little bit on health guy, and we'll look at gold and silver, of course. And I went to the bank. So there's many topics to discuss today. Please let me know if there's something you want me to talk on the NCAA tournament. So where should we begin? Let's go to the NCAA tournament. Get that out of the way. Not really watching much of it. I don't even know if I'll watch today. It's who cares? Connecticut against against what, San Diego State, which is basically Michigan. All the Michigan coaches on it. So we'll see. Let's see what's going on. So I went to the bank. I had to make a deposit, but I'd rather do that. So in case there's a problem, I don't lose my money. But when I need to make a deposit, then I'm able to put the money in, and I'm not really worried. It's already kind of spent. Basically, rent hits tomorrow, I guess. So I put it in today. And then I should get some more money. So I'm going to tell you a story about work. It's a good story. God, I'm all over the place today. Should be an exciting day. Where's Bobby Bowe? I haven't talked to him in a few days. All right, let's see. NCAA basketball today. Connecticut 7.5, 132 against San Diego State. I'm going to take San Diego State the touchdown. Is Connecticut that good? Sure they are. I don't know. Who knows? It's college basketball. Yeah, they've been beating everybody pretty good. Is it an over and under? I don't know. I played San Diego State under. It was a high-scoring game. I thought Connecticut-Miami would be a high-scoring game. It was a low-scoring. I would think this is an under game also. So just in the fact they'll be choking, I like the dog, the way San Diego State came back, but that was what Miami did. Who knows? Let's go under 132.5. That's about all I can say for that. All right, I'm going to talk about a quick thing on my W-2. So when I left Toyota, as I said, I got a severance pay. I also got a relocation check that nobody ever told me about. So I asked for my last pay stub so I could A, do my taxes, and B, make sure that I got the right severance pay. And so it was like $8,000 plus. It was $8,000 plus. What do you call it? The Cobra insurance, which I don't use medical insurance. This is my medical, the avocado. So I checked. Yep, there it is. $9,100. I got $6,000 of it. I go, Jesus, I got crushed on taxes. Then I get my W-2 and I notice it's like another $8,000. And so I'm arguing I call out Toyota and I'm like, what the fuck? I shouldn't have. What's this relocation for $8,000? Now, nobody told me, which is what their problem was, the terrible communication, terrible HR department. So nobody tells me about this relocation. So I get the W-2 and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, I'm not paying for that. I already paid for relocation when I moved down there. They gave me 10 grand, which I only netted 7,500. They didn't gross up. So I was pretty pissed about that. What the fuck is this? Thank you. Okay. So, all right. So I'm arguing with the girl. I go, you got to reduce my W-2 because I didn't, this 8,000 was taxed in 2021. I shouldn't pay tax on it again. And I'm looking at it, and then I take another look at it, and I realize they were supposed to look like it was a check because she's showing me a check and then taxes and then the net. So I go, oh, wait a minute. This isn't a tax. You sent me a check. And so they said, yeah, we sent you a check. I says, well, I never got the check. That was the confusion. So I actually got another 8,000 to relocate back to Detroit. I don't know if they had to do it or they were nice. Let's say they had to do it. So in other words, when I moved down there, they paid the relocation, but since the job didn't work out and I was let go, they gave me back money to go back to Detroit. They probably felt bad for me, like we got the kid down to Alabama and it didn't work out. It was not what he wanted, so we'll send him back. Anyway, so the VP's checking into it today because this all happened on like Thursday and Friday. And he's going to call them. So what should happen is somebody sent the check down. Now, keep in mind, I was moving back from Alabama. So what did I do? I checked my mailbox that Saturday and then I was gone. And then I put a change of address in to my buddy down there because I didn't know where I would be. I'm coming up to stay at a hotel for a month. Then I closed my bank account out on the Saturday. Now that 8 grand, which was really 5 grand, didn't hit. So I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm not looking for anything. Nobody's contacting me. Probably they emailed the work, which would have shot it back. Nobody emailed me to my email. So I don't know. I've got this 5 grand sitting there. So because I look at my W-2 and I see this amount and then I check my check stub, I see like severance check, and then I see relocation. So now I get to the bottom of it. Yeah, we sent you a check. I says, well, I never got it. You need to reissue it. So they're going to verify that it wasn't cashed, which I understand, and it wasn't by me. So if it got cashed, it was a scam. And then they'll void it out and reissue another check. So now I could be looking at some more money coming in that I had no idea I was supposed to get. Had I looked closer at my last check stub, I would have saw it and asked them then and said, send it. But I wouldn't have known where to send it because I didn't have a place. Hopefully they'll either direct deposit it to my bank here or FedEx it to me here so I can get it soon. So I'm waiting on that to happen. So when you get the W-2 doesn't show it. It shows an amount, and that's it. And so when I looked at my last pay stub, there was relocation 8 grand, which I didn't have. I had it when I moved down in 2021, but in 2022, I didn't have relocation. And you don't pay tax on the relocation more than once. So 10,000, they taxed me. I got 7,500. Boom. That's it. They can't tax you again. It's only income once. So the reason this showed up is they actually sent me a second check but nobody told me. So again, by looking at it and looking at the amount, I knew the amount wasn't right. When I did the math, I go, this is about 10,000 too much. And I asked why, and then I figured it out. So where I was smart was I was able to figure out this was a relocation check that I never got. So I should be getting a huge refund because I got $17,000, of which I got 11 of the 17. So that's a hell of a lot in taxes. So I should get that. I should get a big refund, which leaves. So I'm looking at like $5,000 and then a refund. And this is perfect. So anyway, it'll go for my trip to Spain. So that's what we have. So we have that. So point number one is you want to verify your W-2 is correct. So what you tend to do is look on your last pay stub, and it'll show all the detail. It'll show gross, taxes, and everything. So if it says something weird like severance pay, relocation pay, you should be aware of it. Right? If you're let go and they give you the check for severance, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But if there's a relocation amount, what is that? But everything on your W-2 should be from checks that you receive. Your paychecks, the severance check, a relocation check, that should be the only thing on your W-2. And it shouldn't be like if I owed. I kept saying, well, I don't owe the relocation. Like supposedly you're supposed to be there 2 years or you had to pay it back. But because they let me go, I didn't have to pay it back. Not only that, but then they issued me a check. So I got it. It was funny because I asked the VP in an email, says, was I supposed to get a check? He says, yeah. I'm like, how did he know? But then he says, sorry for the lack of communication. And that was the whole problem with the whole fiasco down there was no communication at all. Nobody picked me up. Nobody showed me around. It was just horrible. The bosses had no communication. They were way underqualified to do their jobs. A manager is supposed to be a leader. And being a leader means you help your staff. You're it's like a head coach in football, not, saying a play and nobody knows what the play is or nobody knows what to do on the play. You've got to help your teammates, and the managers there were clueless. The managers at most places are clueless. And finance a lot, they're accountants who are accounting. They're not, they're smart doing accounting, but they're not good with people. And a lot of numbers people, I'm the exception, are not good with people. So they give them, somebody's got to manage it, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to coach the people and manage the people and get the people up to speed. I was at another job, and it was an insurance company, and I had to do some actuary work, which I didn't think was that tough, but I couldn't come up with the explanation. So I could do the model, but when it came down to why are you raising or lowering the insurance costs, I didn't. I just said, well, it's it's like auto repair is very expensive because of the new technology and the chips in there and this and that. And the guy would say, no, that's wrong. And I'd say, well, what's the right answer? And he wouldn't answer it. And then he'd say, it's not rocket science. And I'd be like, what the fuck does that mean? It's not rocket science. That's like if I were to insult you and you would ask me, hey, who do you like in the football game? And I would say, who you like in the Super Bowl, KC or Philly? And I'd go, well, it's not rocket science. You should be able to figure it out. I mean, that's very insulting. And that's how he would manage. And I told that to my Mercedes boss. We're sitting around one day and I told her the story, and she said, because he didn't know what he was doing. And I just smiled and thought, yes, thank you very much. So if you ever get people that say it's not rocket science, you can't explain it, it's because they don't know. And then you just laugh at them and walk away and don't keep wasting your time. But then ironically, I was let go for not knowing. And he's the one that couldn't. So when you ask somebody, well, what's the answer of a question that they give you, and you say, I don't know, you're wrong. And I'd say, what's the answer? And they can't answer it. Then how do you know I'm wrong if you don't know what the answer is? And the ironic thing is, I think I was correct that the cost of the accident was more expensive because I went to some actuaries and that's what they said. I'm getting it from them, and he's saying it's wrong, but he can't give me the right answer. So I'm like, okay, it's time for me to leave here. Being an INFJ, I'm not afraid to leave and get a new job, or leave and get a new girl, or leave and go to a different restaurant. If I don't like something, I get up and leave. So it's not odd for me to do that. I don't like it, I say, fuck you, I don't need it, and I'll do it. See, because I'm willing to do things on my own. So therefore, I could go buy a steak at the grocery store and cook it myself, and I'm just as happy making a very healthy steak and salad that you're going to, I don't need to go to Ditka's Steakhouse to have a good steak, so I can do that. All right, so that's the W-2. So be very careful of what's on it, that it should be like, look at your last pay stub, and if it says, 40,000, you get a W-2 for 45,000, you got to go, what happened here? Now, normally it's a check that was given. Now, normally if you're still at the job, you'll get it. Like I think what happened is I probably got it in the mailbox, but I moved out on a Saturday, so it probably hit the next week before the relocation took place, or it was a direct deposit into the bank in Alabama that I closed on that Saturday. So it probably hit the next week, but I closed the bank out because I went back to Michigan, and there was no reason, since I was moving back, there was no reason to keep the bank open because I'm coming to Detroit. What do I need a bank in Alabama for? So that would be my guess. They probably mailed a check to me, and it just went into limbo, and that's probably what happened. So I don't know that anybody would have opened it and tried to cash it. It's addressed to professor. Why would you open it, right? I get bad mail that's not addressed to me. I just throw it away. I don't really, if it's something like I can see maybe something important, I'll forward it. I'll say no longer here. But if it's just, coupons or something, I just throw it out. I hate when it says to the resident of, like, oh yeah, you're doing your research. All right, so that's your W. Make sure it's correct, and look at your last stub. And if it's just, if you make 90 grand a year, it should say 90 grand. If it says 100 grand, then you got to figure out where's the extra 10 and talk to payroll at your company. But there should have been good communication. I should have known this check was coming, and when it didn't get cashed, they should have then said, wait a minute, this didn't get cashed. What the fuck are they doing? I do that. If I send somebody a check and it's sitting in my checking account, it's not being absorbed, that's a problem. And, once in a while I'll have a friend and I'd give him a check years ago. I'd still see it outstanding and I'd call, like, you going to cash it or what? Or somebody would give me a check and it would be the same. I didn't cash it. It's $25. I don't want it. And the guy saying, you're killing my outstanding because you're not cashing it. So they should have saw the records that it wasn't cashed and done that. So I'm waiting to hear that today or possibly tomorrow that we're reissuing it, and then that'll be great. And then I can do my taxes and then get a big refund because they took like $3,000 in tax out of $8,000 because then they assume that's your normal paycheck, and that's not. So you end up getting really killed on taxes, but here's where you get it back is on your income tax. Okay, so that's tax. That's the tax thing. So I'm looking for the initial check and then the refund. So this is going to be, this should be very good for me. Spain's all set. Booked the flights, booked the hotel. Really weird on the hotel. So I'm going to Barcelona. And what's really weird is I go on bookings.com and it's for 8 days, right? Bookings.com won't give me an 8-day reservation. They say you can have 7 days in one, or you can have like 5 and 3. But I couldn't do an 8-day, and I don't know if that's a bookings policy or what, which seems strange. People go on vacation for 2 weeks, but maybe they want you to make 2 separate reservations for some reason. So I see for 7 days, and then I see the 1 day, and I'm like, well, the fuck wasn't this available? So I booked the 7 and I booked the 1. Very expensive in Barcelona, although you can find decent prices. But Barcelona is more of like a resort, and it's very a lot of pricey hotels there because you're right on the water. I think it's the Mediterranean, and I'll look for the professor in Tokyo when I go down there. But so anyway, so it's very much more expensive. But I was able to find a normal priced hotel in the middle. I'm going to take gold and silver with me, A, to test the airlines, B, to see if I can cash it, and C, in case I get fucked and I can't come back because all of a sudden the money's no good. Now, in retrospect, the credit card booked the hotel. So that's not yet paid, but paid with that. The airline tickets are paid. My girlfriend's airline is paid. In her hotel, she's got a train from Ukraine to Poland, spend the night, then go to the airport. So I got her a hotel at the airport. That's paid for. And that's it. So basically all the airfare in the hotel are booked. So all I got to do is just book some luggage for her. I get because I'm flying American, but I'm flying international. I'm taking you can bring on a carry-on at no charge, but if you bring in a full-size check-in luggage, they want to charge you for it. So I say, okay, and I bring on a big carry-on that, overhead, and then my computer bag's a little bit bigger. Now, when I flew to Lisbon before, they said, don't worry about it because it was international. The difference is it was Detroit to Frankfurt and then Frankfurt to Lisbon. So it was a direct flight from Detroit there. I'm a little concerned because she said, well, if you're going just in the U.S., that might be a problem. But because I'm going to Barcelona, I'm hoping they won't give me a problem with it. Otherwise, I'm going from here to Philly and Philly there. So on the other hand, if it is, I'm hoping it's not a too bad of a thing. The flight from Philly to Barcelona won't be an issue because they won't care about the extra because they're not filling up a flight on a Tuesday, or no, it's a Thursday from Philadelphia to Barcelona. At 6:00 at night is not going to be full where I can't put my bag on the overhead. So the international ones are fine. It's just going to Philly, I hope won't be an issue, but we'll see. So I'm going to bring gold and silver, and we will see. They don't monitor it, so I don't know that it's a problem. Will they start monitoring it when gold's 50,000 an ounce? This I'm not sure, but at the price it's at, 2,000. Well, let's see exactly what's at. But at the price it's at, what I do is a nice little feeler. Is I sit there and I bring like 5 quarters and dimes with me. So I'll put the silver and the gold in my shoe or in the thing with a bunch of quarters. So if they do see it, they just think it's change, and they're looking for weapons and stuff like that. They're really not looking for gold and silver at this point. Hopefully that doesn't change, but they don't really care about that. They care about weapons. So they don't even look. They x-rays it. They probably look at it going, it's just coins, and haven't had a problem. I haven't declared it. Not a problem there. And let's see. Gold's up 1470 today. Still COMEX, still paper gold, not physical gold, as we know. So we got a small 10 o'clock drop, and then boom. So it went from 1975 at 10 o'clock up to 1990. It's a 1984 up $15, silver 23.90. And again, this is paper, so it's really not real. And this is my argument I have so often is once it gets to physical gold, this will be that's why it'll blow away COMEX, right? Once it's physical. Right now, being paper, then of course the paper derivative is being price fixed and kept down. So once the physical comes in with the Russia, China, BRICS countries and the dollar collapsing, then that's why I'm looking at 40, 50,000. Now, as Alistair McLeod, I was watching his thing, says it's really not gold going up. It's the value of the dollar being inflated going down. So inflation kills the value of the dollar. So what it could buy, a Coca-Cola for 20 cents is now a Coca-Cola for $3. Coke hasn't gone up. That's what I keep saying. It's the gold. It's the money that's worth less. So gold really doesn't go up, but the money goes down in value, makes the gold go up until the gold will go to its own value. And that's why I saw some of these video subjects we'll walk through in a minute. And, it's like buy a house for 7 ounces of gold. And I'm going, there you go. So let's see. Let's go to the subscriptions. See, now I didn't watch this one, but just by looking at the title, Trust in System Failing, you have to understand once the confidence is gone in the dollar and people are afraid of it, it's gone. Let's see. This one came out late. I did watch that. It was a lot on banks and how the central bank can no longer set interest rates. The regional banks, the Citicorps, the Chase, the Morgan Stanleys, the Wells Fargo are now the ones setting the rate. It's out of the Fed's hands because they fucked up. I love that. Let's see. All right, so let's go down the list. Silver panic buying. Who's panicking? We've been buying it. It's still sitting at 25. Here's this moron. Don't panic. Buy more gold. We've been saying that for what, a year and a half? 75 silver for a house. So that's what I've been saying. Why doesn't he just say an ounce of gold for a house? But silver will 30 times easily. Now, I don't know if this guy has 600 views. This guy's got 1,000 views. This guy's got a market that displays remarkable. Shut up. This guy's got 300 views. This guy's got 400 views. This guy's got 72 views. So these don't really get viewed all that much for whatever reason. I think people just don't want to know. So went to the bank today, had to cover rent. I bought some more gold and silver, so my money went to that. I always wonder, why don't I have money to pay for rent? Well, I got 2 friends, 3 credit cards, and my normal thing, and I get my Social Security, which handles most of it. And I'm got the trip coming up where I don't know how much to leave in how much cash to take versus how much to leave for my debit card, if my debit card will even work. So it's really a catch-22 there. I'll probably bring 1,000 in my wallet and a couple thousand in my debit card, and I can still use my credit cards. Hopefully all works. I have no idea. I mean, it's the shit's hitting the fan. So and I'm bringing gold and silver. So I should be covered so I can at least eat there. I mean, the credit card should pay the bill and the hotel and the air is paid for. So it's just really food and shopping. So I go to the bank, Fifth Third, put my deposit in. I see a manager and I said, "Oh, nice that you're still here." And she kind of laughs because they know me. That's the one thing with the professor. They know me because I just get into it, right? And I said, "So you're still here? That's good." So we start talking. She says, "Don't worry, we're very high. We have not taken the risk. We're very conservative here, not like Silicon Valley or Credit Suisse where they're really held." And Credit Suisse is really the U.S. telling on them because Saudi Arabia had all their money in Credit Suisse, and when Saudi Arabia told us to go fuck ourselves, that we're going with China and BRICS, we're not the petrodollar anymore, it's the yuan dollar. So the U.S. is retaliating with them, and then the king of Saudi Arabia took all his money out of Credit Suisse, which fucked them because then they had no money to pay out. That's the problem, and they didn't have the money. So what happens is, as I said, if Bobby gives me $100,000 and I invest it, I don't keep it. There isn't an account Bobby. It's a credit. I owe Bobby $100,000 if he wants it, and I hope he doesn't come to get it. It's the whole Ponzi scheme, right? So Bobby comes for the $100,000, and what happens? He comes. I don't have it, so I get it. And I go, "Here you go, Bobby." But now I'm fucked because the $100,000 isn't sitting there. So you got to understand a bank. Your money's not sitting there. Now I just gave him money for rent. It's in my account, so when rent takes it, I'll be okay because it's tomorrow, right? I don't need it long, and I've never had a problem paying my bills with the money in there. Anyway, so I'm talking to the manager. Are we safe? What's going on? She knows I'm an economist, so she talks to me. I said, "What's going on with this digital currency? Is it happening?" She says, "Yes, it will happen, but it's a long way away," which is what I said. I said, "But we need a medium of exchange. How are we going to get away from dollars? What if I go to the casino? What if I tip a taxi driver or go get a haircut and I pay with cash? They're not set up. Another restaurant, I go to the barbecue place. He's not set up for digital currency. Are you going away? Are we dealing directly with the Fed?" And she says, "No, we'll be here. So the Fed will feed us and then we'll still be your bank. We're not going away. Are we going to have dollars?" Now, I believe there'll still be dollars. Again, it's far away. So as they crush this and they implode this to zero, they'll have a new dollar, which is what I think it'll be like the Canadian plastic shit, but it'll stay, 1 and 10 and 20, but it'll be worthless because it won't be backed by gold. So don't fall into that trap. And then, so she says, "Yeah, but it's a long way away. So we'll come out with this new money. So if I got money in my safe, I'm going to sit there and go, okay, I have to." They'll eventually say this money is no good, but they should give us time, and then we'll switch it in the bank or wherever to get the money out. And in the meantime, if you go buy more gold and silver, use your debit card. So I think that'll still work until the digital currency, but I don't know if the digital currency is the end all or an option. Right now, crypto is an option. Crypto is the only digital currency there is. The credit card and debit card are electric. They're not digital. So if you want, you don't. So instead of I don't need to take $1,000 to pay for my hotel in Spain. Here's a credit card, which is basically $1,000. Here you go. But I don't have to give it to them in cash. And that's what they're trying to, in my mind, brainwash everybody into believing, well, we don't need money now anyway. And I go, Teaser King, I get paid on PayPal. It goes into my bank. But what if how much do I really need? How much do I trust that they won't fuck my money up? That's what it's about. That's why you leave money in your safe. I want to go buy gold. I want to pay cash. I don't want anybody knowing that. I go to a bar. I go to the casino. I go to Amsterdam. I don't want anybody knowing my business. I want to do what I want to do. What are the girls in Amsterdam going to take? What, your debit card? What's your digital currency? What's your CBDC? I'll transfer money to you. Are you insane? So I don't see how you're going to get away from money. There's just too much cash. I was in Lisbon, and the taxis, I had to keep getting euros. They wouldn't take the dollars. They wouldn't take the credit card or the debit card. They only took dollars. She said they'll have to adjust if they want to get paid. I'm like, I don't think it's that easy. But so she was trying to say we'll all be using debit and credit cards as the digital currency. And will they phase out the money and will they control it? Now, as far as I know, Fifth Third, will be the intermediary between the central bank. Like, we're not going to deal with the central bank. It'll go to your bank, and then they'll give you the debit and credit card. So I don't know. I guess you would get paid. It would still hit your bank account. There just won't be cash in it. How do I buy my gold and silver? How do I pay for things with cash? How do I go down to the casino and here's 300 to play poker? How's that going to happen? There's a lot of questions, but it's a ways away. Not to worry about it like it's coming tomorrow. Okay, so we can prepare for it. Right now, I would say just keep your money out of the bank because who knows. Now, Fifth Third said no. We're like number two. We're very solid. We're not collapsing. Oh, okay. Do I believe her? 50-50. But let's say I do. And then you have you have the banks. Once you lose confidence in this, that it's being inflated to zero, the Titanic, right? Going to zero, they have no choice. They have to then come out with new currency. They're not ready for digital currency. Again, if I went to the barbecue place, he's not set up now. He's set up to take debit and credit cards. So is that what you're going to do? Is just take debit and credit cards, which is everything stays the same. We'll just take debit and credit cards. We'll take debit and credit cards, not cash. So I paid for my airfare and my hotel with the credit card, so didn't need cash there. As long as everybody accepts the debit and credit card, I really don't need cash in Spain, except for cash things. If I go to a restaurant or a grocery store, I'll try to use my debit cards. Gold will be the only outlier. And then how do you sell your gold? I guess you go on eBay and somebody will give you on your debit card or in your bank or whatever. Like now, when I'm waiting for this 5,000 from Toyota, and when I get it, I'm gonna tell them either put it into my account or FedEx me the check, and then I'll go to the bank and I'll cash it and put money back in my safe. And then it'll be perfect for the trip. But that's what I do. Now, Social Security comes to me, hits my account, as does unemployment, as does the PayPal comes in for Teaser King, and I put it to my bank, and then I can get the money or not. Usually I go buy gold. So that's going to be a problem. The gold guy doesn't like to take credit cards. He will take debit cards, but I don't think he likes it. I think he wants cash. So this will be interesting. He'll have to then take debit or credit cards. And there was a problem where somebody bought like 5 ounces and then said, I'm not paying. And they didn't make them pay. They said, fine, you don't have to pay. And they went on the side of the lady who got the gold. They showed her, look, we sent her 5 ounces. She got it. And he got fucked. So I don't know. And then what happens if the Russians pull the plug and there's no electricity for a while or something, or they blow up the stuff that they do? All your money's, you don't have. I mean, at least I have it, right? Well, that's the thing with gold and silver. I at least have it. So it's a confidence game now. If you believe your bank is solid, it's a confidence game. Then you leave your money in. And if again, I got some oceanfront property in Detroit to sell you if you believe your bank's solid and you're keeping your money in there. Now, Alistair McLeod said, what did he say about the banks? I just had it. Yeah, so he's saying it's all confidence in the banking system. Oh, what I wanted to say, he said that it's the Federal Reserve's. They had asked him about Janet Yellen, kind of saying, well, we're just going to protect the big banks to get everybody to move their money into JP Morgan and Wells Fargo. And Alistair, being a banking president, I don't think he still is, made a comment, and he said, no, it's the central bank's job to protect everybody. So any bank that has a problem, the central bank needs to bail them out and FDIC the depositors. He said every bank, no matter what, that's the job of the central bank. So he said, first of all, you can't trust anything a politician said, Powell, Janet Yellen, Biden, anything. They're just trying to make it good because they're trying to keep the faith that you think everything's all right. So they're going to lie through their teeth. They're the ones causing the problem, but they're going to lie. So like Bobby's like with the CPI and the PPI and all that, Bobby, you can't take it literally. What they're saying is real. You have to assume what they're saying is just pure bullshit. And therefore you don't listen to it. Right. So I don't want you, when you hear Powell or Yellen or any of these, you've got to realize it's political. It's telling you what you want to hear, trying to keep you safe. So you got to look at reality, right? Gold and silver are in huge demand. The central banks are buying gold and silver. We know gold and silver is going through the roof. We know that COMEX is going to go either bankrupt, or the Russians and Chinese will get the gold up, and then COMEX will have to meet otherwise there'll be a big arbitrage and everybody will buy from COMEX and sell to Russia. If I can get it for $2,000 and sell it for $30,000, get in line. I mean, where else can you buy something for $2,000 and sell it for 30 right away? So that's why COMEX, I mean, it's collapsing anyway. We all know it. It's just a matter of time. They're trying to keep gold down. So, because once the gold goes up, people will lose faith in the dollar. And then more and more people will start realizing the dollar's just bullshit. It's just paper. It's not backed by anything. And then the stock market is just, I mean, you cannot trust the stock market. All right. We've had Enron. We've had Bernie Madoff. We've had Attack on Wall Street. We've had the Margin Call movie. And what happened? They just fuck you over with scams. All they care about is themselves. In fact, Enron is the best because they sit there and fucked up their whole financials. It was all fantasy. Arthur Anderson, the big six audit firm, got paid off and didn't do their job. As I'm saying, the SEC gets paid off and doesn't do their job. So you have to realize that pretty much, I would say 99.5%, if you went on Google, Yahoo, Finance, E-Trade, any of it, and you looked at the financial statements of Tesla, Microsoft, Amazon, they're not correct. They pay the auditors to say, yep, they're fine. Just like Madoff and the SEC said everything's fine, and it wasn't. That's the same thing here. You have to realize they're going to put down anything and they want you to believe it, and you can't trust it. So this is why you can't be in stocks, because you don't know what the real numbers are. And as you could see at Enron, you had stock at Enron and then you went bankrupt. You had stock with Madoff and you went bankrupt. It's all fantasy. It's to get you to buy. It's the Ponzi scheme. So you can't trust Wall Street. You can't trust the stock market. That's why I tell you, go buy 1,000 shares of Newmont Mining. It's a gold stock. Get in, and by the end of the day, so you get in about 10:30, and by the end of the day, you're out. You're looking for the algorithm up and the algorithm down. When the algorithm up starts going, get in. And when it starts turning and then it starts going back, get the fuck out. You can't be greedy with these stocks. This is the point that they're greedy. Oh, I want to make $1 million. That's the best way to lose your money, right? And so you're going to lose your money every time if you don't have money management, which is what I teach in football, right? If we hit some games and we're up $1,500 on a Saturday, you never give back $1,500 on Sunday. You bet your best game or two, you put up $500. You don't give a shit. You make if I win, I got $2,000. If I lose, I got $1,000. Either way, I win. Why do I tell you to trap teasers? It's the same thing. We got a dog getting 8. All right, bet the favorite -2. If we've already got the first half of the teaser in, we can't lose. That's why, because of all the Ponzi schemes and all the bullshit, you just want to win, and you just win, and let it add up. I made a lot of money in Newmont by just taking 1,000 shares, and I made 70 cents and make $700. And I was, thank you very much. And what I used to say is, if I saw $700 or $500 sitting on the floor, would I pick it up? Nobody around. You're in the middle of a park. Here's $500. You're going to pick it up? Hell yes. Well, that's Newmont. You take the money and you go, thank you, and you do it again the next day. I risked and I didn't lose. I risked and I didn't lose, and it adds up. And boom, oh, I'm up 1,000. Now I'm up 5,000. Now I'm up 10,000, and you just keep doing that. That's the key to success, is to take the profit. Don't risk a lot because it's not worth it. What do you do if you leave the money in and it goes to zero? You're fucked. You're Madoff. How do you feel if you're up $100,000 and instead of taking your money out of Madoff, because you really don't know where it's coming from, you can't believe he hits every game. You can't believe, it never goes down. But when you call and say, how do you do it? You get no answer. And now you're up $100,000. I'm out. Goodbye. It's just like craps. I hit some numbers. And now here comes I hit 5 numbers, right? I'm playing 5, 6, and 8, and the point is 10, and I hit the 5, and I hit the 5, and I hit the 6, I hit the 8. I know the 7's coming, so I better get the fuck out before the 7 hits. And that's how you play craps. You can't just sit there forever. The 7 will come. And a lot of people press up. Well, the problem with pressing, you hit 5 numbers, you press, and then here comes the 7. You don't win anything. So you got to pull your number. You got to be very analytical going, I know a 7's coming. Okay, I made some bets. I won. Okay, let's get the fuck off before the 7 hits. So there's always going to be the 7, be it in football betting, be it in sports betting, be it in blackjack. There's always going to be the dealer hits 22 cards for 21. There's always going to be that problem. So you got to be very careful there. So please be careful. What they say, you don't know. So the banks, they're still in trouble, but they will bail them all out because they have to. The money they use to bail them out, it's going to be inflation, and gold and silver is way too low, which we understand. Just keep buying it. And if you can't afford the gold, look, gold's like 2,050 or 60 now, if you buy an ounce. But if you don't buy an ounce, it's not. Hey, Bobby Bo. Yeah, I hurt my foot. If you saw Fridays, I don't know what it is. I think it's COVID, but I think I snapped it in bed near the Achilles. But now I think it's gout because it's all over, and I got my gout medicine, so I'm better today. But when I walk, it's a little uncomfortable, but I can walk kind of sideways. So I'm hoping that it'll be better at least before I go to Spain. About have a burger avocado and listen. There you go, Bobby. Yep, I had my avocado, and so I was talking about the banks. I was talking about my W-2. You'll see earlier. Bobby Lowe has been having some knee pain a few days ago too. Now, is this arthritis? Um, be careful if it is. That's the sugar bothers it, right? So be very careful on your sugar. If it's arthritis, I don't know. I'm sure I'm sure it's an injury, but is it, did you re-injure it, or is it like the scar tissue causing arthritis in the knee, causing, that's why you're getting the pain because of the arthritis? If it is, just stay away from your sugars. I'm going to play a little clip here. 10 drinks you should never have from our doctor. Now, I'm not too long, but a minute. And then watch this one. This one came out late. It didn't come out. This one came out yesterday, I think. And it's mostly talking about banks, so it really wasn't. But you still, of course, buy gold. All right, so
when you eat less and you exercise more, what happens is your body just starts eating away your muscle instead of eating away.
We don't want to listen.
Products, you're going to find the usual list of preservatives, artificial color, artificial flavor, the chemical cocktail. But even with all of this, I found several places where they proclaimed the health benefits of chocolate milk. They still think that this is a good thing for you. So here's what WebMD had to say about chocolate milk. They said that this is a very healthy treat. It has lots of calcium on the positive side. But of course, the calcium in pasteurized milk and processed products is very, very poorly available. So it's basically useless as a source of calcium. Also, the protein is not very absorbable, not that you get a whole lot in milk of this kind. On the downside, they say that lactose is a problem. So when most people think about milk being an issue, all they've heard is lactose. They don't realize that what most people are sensitive to is the proteins in milk. And of course, if you have a problem with lactose, then that's not a good thing, but it's usually not the top to be concerned with. And then on top of the lactose, they have, of course, tons of added sugar, and they admit that that may not be such a great thing, but they claim that the main problem with added sugar is that it adds calories. And then calories, they believe, is the cause of obesity, and then they think that obesity causes disease. So everywhere you look, you get this sequence, this rationale that sugar adds calories, leads to obesity, leads to disease. And this is true to a point, but we have to get this straight. There are plenty of things that are super healthy for you, like a steak or an avocado, that have plenty more calories than sugar. So that's not what we need to be concerned with. But here's the official model, that sugar has calories that lead to obesity, which in turn leads to disease. And we have to understand this is not the order of which it happens. What we need to understand is that sugar is the number one cause involved in the mechanism of insulin resistance and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, right? Which is rampant. 88% of the population has some degree of insulin resistance, and it's creeping down, hitting people younger and younger. And non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is what happens when we consume too much sugar, and we'll talk about that. And then these two things is what causes disease and obesity. So we have to understand the direction of the causation, because otherwise we're always going to attack these from the wrong direction. So yes, sugar is the problem. The reason is not because it has calories, it's because it screws up your hormones. It messes up your metabolic balance and system, causing insulin resistance. So that is the cause of both obesity and disease. Obesity doesn't cause anything. It's correlated with disease and insulin resistance. So if we understand that, now we can start attacking it from the right direction. Number 7 is sweetened tea and coffee drinks. And here I'm referring to the popular trend.
Okay, so what he was talking about is the 10 worst drinks to have, but he was explaining what, so this is what I tell you, like, be careful on your sugar, because the insulin resistance causes diabetes, heart problems, kidney problems, liver problems, and your strokes. That's why you got to be careful with it. So when you drink a lot, Bobby, that's what I'm saying is the hangover is all the sugar that, basically hurts you. And that's why you get the hangover, but you're hurting your liver, but you don't know you're hurting your liver. So that's what he's saying. So the top 10 drinks are all these sugar drinks to not have. And of course, the last one was Coca-Cola, because it's just full of sugar. Some of these, like, don't take the energy drinks, don't take Gatorade. That's a lot of sugar. The sweet teas, the vitamin water, pretty much the only thing you can drink are green tea and water and coffee without sweetener and all that stuff. So, he had orange juice on it. Now, he did make a thing. He said, it's okay to have one glass of orange juice for breakfast. Just be careful. Just know it's a lot of sugar. So I wanted to bring that in because I was curious, the 10 drinks that were bad for you. But then he got into the WebMD, and he's good at, like, disproving them. Like, they're saying it's this, and he's saying, no, it ain't. It's not what they said. It's the insulin resistance, which is the killer, which is what I keep trying to hammer home. Or obviously you can watch them, but that's what I'm trying to hammer to you, is be careful of the sugar, the processed sugar, the high fructose corn syrup. Now, he did mention honey, so keep in mind honey's very high sugar, but if you have one little teaspoon with your tea, and that's it for 3 or 4 days, he said that's very healthy for you, because honey is very healthy. I was around yesterday, and man, it is hard to be around non-INFJs at times. Most of the time, isn't it, Bobby? Yeah, because they just don't get it. They're just they want to small talk you. We're not. We are so not interested in small talk that we just. It's like we want to solve problems, and we don't mind helping people. But that's it. We don't want the small talk. But yeah, it's funny that now we understand what we are. I'll see a lady and she's yelling at her kid, and then I'll go to her. Do you know what her makeup is? Do you know what her personality type is? And none of them know. And if they did, they would talk to the kid totally different. If they knew what the kid was, absolutely. Had family members arguing with each other over petty bullshit, of course, and we walk away from that. And of course, the small meaningless chit chat. I can't stand that shit. That's why I very rarely talk to my family. It was all little BS. My mother was great at it. I was so bored, and my brother just wants to. He's kind of like a mean type of guy. Like, he's very sarcastic, and I what I did was close the door on him, but I didn't realize that's what I was doing until I see the videos on INFJs going, that's what I did. But basically, I don't even want to talk to these. I can't talk to them for more than 5 minutes. So if I see them at a holiday or a birthday, it's hi, and then I just walk away. I'm at the point I don't even want to see them. I don't want to That's why I'm home a lot. I just give me my peace and quiet. I go to the pool. I'm in the hot tub. Okay, I talk because I have to. But when the communist starts telling me about, Karl Marx, how the hell what conversation do you want to have talking about Karl Marx? Then I start trying to help people with either the diabetes or the gold, and I don't. We're on such a different wavelength than they are, Bobby. You can't even help them. They don't want to accept it. They don't, because they'll have to admit they're wrong, or they'll have to admit they're stupid. Either way, they don't want to learn. We want to learn, right? That's why I listen to these guys. I want to learn what's really going on. And then when I tell you to listen to our two guys, so you want to you want to listen to these three guys, right? One's in medical, and then our two gold guys. These are because after watching 25 different guys, I don't give a fuck. I can't listen to them anymore. These are the only guys that I go, yes, that makes sense. Because I'll listen to these other guys, and in 5 minutes, I'm like, this guy doesn't know. What do you mean paper gold? They start talking paper gold, and like this guy, I don't know who he is. I've never listened to him before. I listened to him for 2 minutes, or this one. When I see the big headlines, the collapse has begun, and it's like, give me a fucking break. It's not a collapse. Who knows what's going to happen? But I will listen. So here's the this is the one site. See, I find this on track. This site gives us a lot of good INFG stuff. So the charm of the true INFG, why we can't resist it. That's kind of us, Bobby. Never makes. This is in why the Sigma INFJ never makes the first move. So if I see a girl, you don't necessarily make the first move, although I kind of do a little bit. Depends, if you get some smiles out of them or not. You might. They got to give you the signals, so you're reading the signals. The communists, have you ripped them a new one lately? Usually I just don't talk to them. Like the guy will say, you're ignoring me. And I go, and I keep ignoring him. It's basically, what are we going to talk about? You read Karl Marx is not a conversation that, as Bobby just said, is bullshit. We don't want to even have that conversation. I already know. See, the problem is I already know it, right? So I don't need to listen to it. I'm not going to learn from the guy. He's not going to teach me anything I need to know or want to know. I know communism's bad. I know Keynesianism is bad. So there's nothing I really, when you bring up the topic, that I want to listen to, because I already know it. I already know it's no good. I just don't talk about it because it's a waste of everybody's time, including mine. So when I start talking about gold, and then I got to get challenged and prove my point, I don't have the energy to do that. It's like, look, if I'm telling you to buy gold, and I'm telling you because the dollar's blowing up in the BRICS countries, if that's not enough info, then go look up BRICS countries, which most people don't even know what the hell they are, and they don't even understand what's going on in the world with BRICS countries. But that's why I don't think there'll be a new world order or a one world government or a one world money, because Putin and Xi are not about to give up power like Sauron. It's a very much Lord of the Rings, right? So here's Sauron, and here's Putin, and here's Xi, and you think Putin's going to give up power? He doesn't share power. Xi doesn't share power. The idiot in North Korea, the guy running Germany and France, the guy went in Britain. Well, I don't know. Britain's been a bit weird, but the guy running Sweden and Switzerland. You have all these presidents. How about the king of Saudi Arabia? He's going to give up his power. I just don't see how you can have a one world government with all these countries. They are not about to give up power. Putin will not give up power. Now, I've heard there was 3 or 4 times they wanted to reach a treaty and end the war, and the U.S. wouldn't allow it because the U.S. is making too much money off of the weapons, which is like Sherlock Holmes 2 with Moriarty. Here we got it played out in real terms with the U.S. for some reason, not why they're even involved, really because it's U.S. versus Russia. Ukraine's getting paid off, so they're doing it. And I don't know. And everybody says how corrupt the Ukraine government is. Well, pick any government you want. Every government is corrupt. So I don't know why they're picking on the Ukraine like they're more corrupt than anybody else. Anyway, so there's been a few times Russia's like, oh, let's end the war already. We'll take Crimea back, and then we'll get out of there because we're wasting our time and our money. We're getting people killed. Everybody's leaving Russia, and it's costing us an arm and a leg. I just want to play with my gold in my vault. Imagine, Bob, you have all this gold. You really want to go to war? You want to count your gold? Oh my God. Bobby, yeah, I thought to myself, man, these people waste so much time and energy on arguing about garbage that do not even matter while they can be learning and getting better. It was a very annoying to Bobby Bo. Well, see, Bobby, they don't understand it's their personality. So you have to be the smartest man in the room, which you are being an INFJ, that these people are a bunch of idiots. They don't want to learn. They don't want to know they don't know. They just want to small talk because that's all they're capable of. So they don't, my mom was like that. She would just small talk and you'd be like, oh my God. See, but when I talk, so when I'm talking on here and I go on for 2 hours, it's not small talk. And it's just, we're hitting a different subject because I'm able to go through 15 different subjects or topics, answer the questions directly and appropriately right away. You don't see me looking up shit to answer questions. I just know it all. So not all of it. I don't want to be a know-it-all, but I do know a lot. So when you hit me on something I know, we talk about it, and but it's not small talk. It's not, oh, look at the weather today or something. So that's what you have. But that's the problem that's why we're alone a lot, Bobby, because we don't want to deal with the bullshit. So we like to find each other, and then we can have good conversations that we both want to have because we don't want to hear the bullshit. I'd rather sit in a hot tub by myself than listen to the communists or go in a lap pool. Now there's people, I will get into the insulin resistance when I see fat people to try to help them or to buy, do you have gold? No. Well, you're pretty fucking unprepared. Go buy gold and silver, but they won't even listen. And you're like, so then you just get tired of, okay, I won't help you. Goodbye. Good luck to you. But that's why I keep watching this. I want to learn more and more and more. That's why I get pissed when there's a guest on, like, go to the vault and, Andrew McGuire's on, there's a guest. I'm like, I don't want to hear the guest. I don't know who he is. I don't want to hear him. I want to hear Andrew because that's the guy I know makes sense. Anyway, I agree, Professor. We don't gossip or talk about the fucking weather. Well, exactly. Professor hates because it's stupid, right? I never listen to the weatherman. Never. People will say it's going to rain tomorrow, snow. I get up, I look out the window. If it rains, I'm prepared. If it doesn't rain, I'm prepared. So my day is, if it's a nice sunny day, I go to the lake and I walk. If it's a rainy day, I go to the pool and work out. That's it. It's like plan A, plan B, whatever the weather is. If it's real cold, I wear a coat. If it's really hot, I don't wear a coat. But yeah, I don't care. That's the nice part about being with Jenna. I don't know if she's an INFJ, but she doesn't really small talk me that much. She'll get on her phone. I'll get on my phone and look up stuff and see what's going on. But so we're pretty compatible, which is unusual for our type to, find somebody we can be fairly compatible with. Bobby, yeah. I remember when Greg and John asked you about the weather. Oh man, that was funny. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Greg or John for a while. I did not knock him off, so he can still come and say hi. Nick, I haven't heard in a while. I know he was doing his fasting, so I don't know what's up with them. Oh yeah, the time I brought up fasting, my family thinks I'm weird or something. I know, isn't it? You learn something very intelligent, and then you try to help them, right? That's what you're doing, is you're trying to help your family be healthy because you know it's the right thing, and it's not coming from you. It's coming from the doctor. I just ran on 10 drinks to never have, is avoid all this sugar and crap, and then he shows you what it does, right? It hurts your liver and kidneys, and it hurts this and it hurts that. You have a heart attack, you have a stroke, you gain weight, you have dementia, you have arthritis. One guy read in his comments, he said, I've had for 20 years, I've had arthritis. I did your fasting and I got away from sugar and it's gone. After like 30 years of arthritis, he doesn't eat the sugar and it's gone. And that's why I do my fasting. I was a little disappointed. I did a 44-hour fast last week for my foot, and it really didn't work. And then I thought, well, maybe this is an injury and not gout. Now I think it's more gout, but it could be an injury. I was sleeping and I put my foot forward, and it was really painful. But it was 6 a.m. I didn't know, I wasn't even up. And then it started hurting, and it's my left foot. Normally my gout's in my right foot, and my right foot's fine. So I really don't know. Like now it's fine, but when I start walking is when it swells, like the blood's not circulating out, which I think is more of an injury, but we'll see. And I'm still going to Spain, and I'll just have to, limp around there, but we'll be on the beach a lot of the time anyway. So we'll see. But yeah, it's funny. Like fasting's probably the healthiest thing you can do because it lets the guy inside dig you out. And I think every quarter you want to do a 72-hour fast once every 3 months, because we will have the pumpkin pie and the chocolate cake. We will have that, or the Oreos or the ice cream. And so you still want to clean your body out, but you still want to lose weight. You're really trying to keep your cells clean is what you're trying to do. That's what the beauty of the fast is. But the autography doesn't start until after 18 hours, but it gets stronger and stronger. You go after 18, it's like turned on. And then after 24, it's a little stronger. After 30, it's much stronger. That's why once you get into the 50, 60 hour time, that autography is just killing all the bad cells, cleaning out your good cells. It's like running. It's like a race. Like it's after 18 hours, it's stretching. And then, like before the game, now you're loosening up your arm at 20 hours. But by like 30 hours, now you're in the game, right? You hit a double, you're running fast. That's what autography is after like 30 hours. So by you letting it go to 70 hours, it's like playing a whole football game, sorry to change the sport, but it's like you're just going up and down the field and you're on high. And that's why I tell you to go longer, because it's really kicked into high gear at that point. So it takes a while to get from the 18-hour to the 24. It's really still in warm-ups, and then you let it really go. So I'll probably do another fast this week. I'd love to do 72 hours just for the trip and clean up my foot. But again, I don't know if it's gout or if it's an injury, because I know I woke up and I put my foot down and it was painful. Anyway, I'm sure you'll be good by then, Professor. You're a champ. Thanks, Bobby. I hope so. I do too. I still have 2 weeks. 2 weeks from a week from Thursday, right? I'm going on the 13th. And we're at the April 3rd already. Did you see this April Fool's thing that really pissed me off? So I'm taking American from here to Philly and from Philly to Barcelona. And they said, oh, we're not doing tickets anymore. Now you're just going to come up to the gate and everybody's going to bid on their tickets. And it was in a Google thing. Oh, what the fuck? Is my ticket good? So I call up Cheapo Air and I go, is my ticket good? And they said, yeah, it's fine. It's been ticketed. And I'm like, oh, so then it said, beware of the date. It was like April 1st. I'm going, who the fuck runs an article like that about an airline? You have to be able to book it early because you have to make sure you're set and then you book your hotel. You can't, if you walk up to the gate not knowing you have an airline, will I be able to get on the plane? How the fuck can you do that? So I was pretty pissed. Then I found another thing. So if you go like a Cheapo Air, you don't get that email a day before to like register, like check in, and then you get your boarding pass. It doesn't come from Cheapo Air anymore. I have to go onto the American Airline site and check in there, but they don't tell you that. So I kind of got a little snippy. Being an INFJ, we like to know everything, right, Bobby? So I said, why didn't you tell me this? When I got the thing and you said, okay, it's paid for, why aren't you saying, please go to the airline's website to check in 24 hours before the flight? They don't tell you that. So you're basically just fucked that you don't know. Now I can go, and I think they have all these little terminals that you get there and you show the ticket, like this. So I think you show, like I have this printed out, and I think then you'll get the boarding pass and then you go through security. So I think you have that, but they don't tell you that. Well, it's a lot easier. You're sitting at home a day before just to go and check in and then and get your boarding pass to your phone, and then you're fine. But not a big inconvenience because I'm going first to Philly and then there. So I'm assuming that'll be a no-brainer. That reminds me of a fasting question. Yes, Bobby. So you think that 124-hour fast is good to recover from everything and get all the junk sugars out? No, I don't think 124-hour fast is. I think what you normally do, so let's say Sunday is your day. I'm going to go get a Dairy Queen and a piece of cake, and I'm going to have French fries with my chicken and, so I'm going to, I'll have a beer or two or a Coke. During that, now that's your treat day. Monday's back to breakfast at 10 for you, dinner at 4, 10 and 4, 10 and 4, and then let your body kind of clean it out. But when you want to do a fast, I think you need to go, if you go 24, it's very easy to not eat at the 24-hour. So if you eat at 4 and you go the next day, it's very easy to just skip and then get to sleep and wake up, and now you're at a 42-hour fast. It's very easy to just miss one day. Especially you just keep busy, whatever. Go play golf, whatever. You don't notice it. So I would prefer to do that, and I just did that. I just skipped one meal, and then I had my breakfast or my lunch at like 1 o'clock, and it was like a 42-hour fast, and it was nothing. It was easy. I wasn't hungry the day I didn't eat, and then when I woke up, I was so excited to get till noon that it was I had a coffee and a water, and I actually could have not eaten that day, and I'd have been fine. So I think if you just stick to your 18-hour, and then when you really want to fast, do probably skip one day and do a 42-hour, I think would be better. Again, you want that autography after 18 hours to really kick in. Well, it's just starting to go. You're just warmed up and you're ready, and it's the first inning, and now you're eating again. You want to play the whole game, so you're better off going instead of 24, just stick with your 18, and then when you're ready to do your 24, make it a 42. Just skip that whole day and then have your lunch. Laugh. Oh man, that damn April Fool stuff. I forgot it was just Saturday and no one played anything. I mean, well, when I saw that American Airlines, I was so pissed. how the fuck can you do that? And, you know, and of course I just booked the flight like Thursday or whatever. So Jenna's got to take a 21-hour train from Ukraine to Poland. And she's got to get a bus from Poland to the airport. Then I got her a hotel room at the airport because she's going to get there on Wednesday and leave on Thursdays. So then I booked her $75 to get her a Hilton at the Krakow airport in Poland, which I thought that's fine. And then they shuttle her to the airport, which is right there, right on property. And then she'll end up in Barcelona. She stops in Warsaw and then Barcelona. And she's got one baggage to check, so I got to pay for that. Mine, I don't have to pay for my luggage unless it was a check-in. So I don't check in. I carry on and bring my gym bag as my second carry-on, and that's what I do. So I'm going to be packing my silver and gold, and I'll bring a bunch of quarters and dimes, and I'm just going to throw it all in the plastic container. And they won't look at it because it'll just be changed to them on the x-ray. It's not a gun. It's not a knife. And off I go. And I didn't have a problem last time. I don't expect a problem this time. But I am testing it to say, well, if I need to take 5 ounces to Switzerland or somewhere to cash it, we'll do that. I don't see gold or silver being illegal. These CBDCs, you missed it. I talked about the bank. I went there earlier today. This is a long way out. And their intention is you don't use the money, but like you get paid and it's a direct deposit, or Social Security just comes in the bank and then it's sitting in your account. It'll be like that. Like, I don't think we'll be attached to the central bank. We'll be attached. I'm at Fifth Third. If you're at Comerica, if you're at Chase, wherever you're at, Wells Fargo, that'll be where your account, just like it is now. So we will see about that. So today I can have last meal at about 5, then do not eat tomorrow at 11. Why are you bringing medals, or if you're going to try and seek some out there? Let me answer your first question. So today I can have the last meal at 5 and then not eat tomorrow, not eat until, well, that's what you do anyway, isn't it, Bobby? You eat your dinner and then you have your lunch. So that's your normal 18 hours, right? Or 17, 18. But your orthography is just kicking in. So you're really not letting your orthography. That's why I say once in a while, do a 48 or 72-hour fast. It's really not that hard. Have your coffee, your tea, your water with lemon. Have that. That's fine. But don't, you can't eat anything. And that's fine. But just do that. That's what you're trying to do. But that's just to keep, that's your normal 18 hours, right? That's your normal. And certainly you can eat at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Well, you eat at what, 11 a.m. So if you want at 1 o'clock, go have a snack. It's just not going to be Fritos or Oreo cookies or ice cream. It's going to be cauliflower dipped in Ken's French, or it's going to be a hamburger, or it's going to be a salad or an omelet you might have as a snack. And then dinner is going to be a steak or your pig's ears or something like that. And you're going to be full. I mean, that's the point. You'll be full because you're not eating the MSG bullshit that makes you hungry. Right. So you're not eating Fritos and Oreos and Cheerios that make you want to eat more. That's why you ever eat Lucky Charms or Raisin Bran, you eat 2 bowls. I can go, if I was eating Lucky Charms, I'd pour a bowl, I'd eat it, I'd want a second bowl. That's why you stay away from carbs and you stay away from cereal. I haven't had cereal in a long, long time. I think on the vacation, if they have cereal in Barcelona, I'll probably have Raisin Bran. But I know it's just a temporary, I'm on a vacation. I can't do what I do here. I will look for a grocery store and I'll get avocados for the room. And I told Jenna, don't let me have any Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero, or chips. Don't let me have that on the thing. Now for breakfast, I'll probably have a little chocolate cake or something. Just, it's a treat. vacation and I want to enjoy, but that's only on the vacation. And that's only because breakfast is served till 10. So that'll be it. And then I'll take like an apple to the room and things like that. But that's what I want to do. That's how I'll eat. So it kind of gets fucked up because you'll eat at like 9:30, 10 instead of waiting till noon. And then you probably won't have lunch. Then I'll have a dinner at 5 or 6 and go from there. So that's kind of what we'll do. And I've been on a few vacations with her, so she doesn't bother me about it. She's pretty happy-go-lucky, and we're fine. I'll go to the pool. She's fine. She's, texting her kids and goes for a cigarette break, and I'm like, perfect, because I want my kind of alone time. Being an INFJ, we like that. We're not afraid of it. We enjoy it. Why you bring in medals, or if you're going to try and seek some out there? I'm bringing medals to give to Jenna, so she can take care of herself and her family once they go up, and to make sure they go through the airline security fine. If we need to go to Europe to cash in our gold to get our 50,000. I want to make sure I can do it. Now the price hasn't gone up yet, but I just am testing it. Not that it's a big thing because the price is low, but basically I'll put it in my, my wallet and my belt and my shoes, and I'll put some change in there. And really, I haven't had a problem yet, so I'm not thinking there'll be a problem, but I do give her some. I will give her like 5 ounces of silver and probably a 1/4 ounce of gold this time. I've given her over an ounce, so it's like, okay, that's enough. Here's another 1/4, and that's about it. You do the 18-hour fast on the vacation too? Well, as I just said, probably not. Just because, like here, I can eat breakfast whenever I want. So I get out of bed and I turn on a movie, and then I will look, and at noon I make an omelet or I make whatever. Have my avocado. Like now it's 2:30. Well, I probably had it just before, and I had made chicken, so I had at like 12 o'clock. I had my chicken and my avocado. So I can watch the clock, but I'm not going anywhere. When I'm there, we want to do stuff. So we get up, we're hungry, we want to go have a breakfast. We usually get the breakfast at the hotel. That way I don't have to worry about, taking a cab or getting money, and then I just charge it to the room. And I already got the credit card, so it's it's like, fine, just add it to the room. I don't care. So that I'm doing with on a vacation. So let's say I eat at 9:30, and then instead of quitting at 3:30, I can't do that because we're going to eat dinner at 5 or 6. So it's a smaller window that I have, but I'm on vacation, so it's okay once in a while. That's why I do it. I'll do it so hard here these 2 weeks coming up to it, right? That's why I'll probably do a 72-hour fast like this weekend to make sure I'm clean, make sure my foot's feeling good, and then when I go on the vacation, even if I do it, and then when I come home, I'll probably do a 48-hour fast or something, or I'll eat very carefully. But I will have some sweets, but I said, don't let me have pop because my foot, I think this is from going to a Mexican on the border, and you get the Mexican, you get the big thing of fucking chips and the dip, and you eat, and of course you eat the whole fucking thing. And I believe the salt on the chips was very salty, is why my foot's so fucked up right now. I had the whole it was a big bowl, and I'm hungry, and you're just wolfing it down. So what I hate about it, I'd rather have gone to Taco Bell and had one taco and one of those, the wheat rolled up thing, whatever they're called, fajitas or enchiladas or tostillos. I don't know Mexican. I don't know why it's so confusing for them. Can't they just fucking call it, here's a shell with hamburger or chicken, and here's the roll with hamburger or chicken. And I'm better off going to Taco Bell where I don't get that whole thing of chips, because I'll eat it and I don't want it, but I won't. That's why I don't buy like Fritos or Lay's or Ruffles at the grocery store, because I'll eat the bag. So usually what I do instead of that is I'll get my nuts and I'll have almonds, or I'll have popcorn that I am controlling. So that's usually what I do. This has really taken a long time to get away. But and the problem is I'll go to the pool today and I'll go into the lap pool and I'll walk kind of gingerly on it. And then I do my little aerobics and it hurts coming out. And I'm like, fuck, all I did was just in 5 feet of water, just walk on it to kind of flex it, but it doesn't seem to help. So anyway, so yeah, it's hard to, you've just got to be careful on the vacation that you're not. That's why I don't, once in a while drink with Jenna. We had champagne and oysters at, in Odessa. I won't have too much of it because of the sugar, but I know it's going to be a problem, especially if my foot's hurting me. If my foot's fine, I'm more apt to take a little, and then really I know I'm pretty clean the whole year. So that's why, like, this is not a diet. I saw one guy in the hot tub yesterday. He said, well, I had lost 30 pounds and I gained it back. And I said, you got diabetes? He had a stomach on him. No, not really. Yeah, you do. Because that's what diabetes are. Insulin resistance is a big belly. You have it. You can say you don't, but you have it. Well, my blood pressure and blood sugar aren't too bad. I'm going, bullshit. Don't bullshit me. You've got a stomach. You've got insulin resistance and probably high blood pressure. And I said, well, I can help you if you want, but I don't know. People I try to help don't take it right. And he said, no, you can help. And I said, just do the fasting, just eat lunch, eat dinner, and then don't eat till lunch and dinner, and no sugar, no carbs. He says, well, I tried that for a month. What the fuck? He said, I tried that for a month, and, I did it for 30 days and I lost like 30 pounds. And I got it, my blood pressure was down and my blood sugar was down. And I'm looking at him like, it's not a diet. It's not, you get on it for 30 days. You stay on it. You just say, I can have a candy bar. I can have a 90 candy bar. But you say, I don't eat Oreos and I don't eat Fritos and I don't have carbs. It's not that difficult. You just, when you're in the grocery store, you choose other foods. I go to the veggies and I grab everything. I grab my avocados, some strawberries, my lettuce. I'll go get some meat. It's not that hard. Just you stay away from cereal and you stay away from bread and you stay away from sugar and candy and cookies. It's not hard. You just know I can't go to this aisle. And I'm mostly in the fruit and veggie section when I shop. And then I go to another grocery store for my meats. It's very simple. It's not even and then I get my Ken's dressing and then and my dark chocolate. And I get my eggs and my half and half. It's very simple. I don't know why you think you're on a diet or off a diet. I never think I'm on a diet. I just eat fruit and veggies. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so it worked for 30 days and then you get off of it. And now what did you do? Eat your Oreos and your ice cream because you needed it. And because you ate it, now you're back and you're fat and you got diabetes again. You can't, I don't know how to deal with people that are that stupid. It worked. You lost the weight. Why would you get off of something when you're really not on a diet at all? Now, yes, I can have a piece of pie for Thanksgiving or New Year's Eve. I can have a drink and have a piece of cake. Yeah, that's fine on those days. Once blue moon's fine. And that's how you kind of get through it. But every week I'm not eating cake and ice cream and chips and all that shit. Like, what the fuck? So anyway, I just looked at him and just like, whatever, like, I don't know how to talk to somebody this stupid. It's you've got the key, but then you throw it away and you're back to Oreos and ice cream. You're like, what a fucking idiot. So that's where I'm at with that guy. But that's what I'm saying. This is just a way of life. This is just, why do you eat the way you eat in the first place? Because that's how your mom fed you, or what you did at college or at work. You're kind of controlled to eat your breakfast because everybody says that. Then it's lunchtime if you're working in an office, and then you get home and you're stressed, so you eat your dinner. That's how you're brought up. And look at school. Well, you have your breakfast, and then there's lunchtime, and then you get home and your mom made you dinner. So you've been so programmed into 3 meals a day, and it's a lot of crap. And the parents never knew what to fed you, so you're getting cookies and brownies and chips, or you buy the snack thing, and it's a sandwich. Like, I'd be in meetings at work, and they'd bring in a little lunchbox, and it'd be a turkey sandwich. So you got the bread with an apple, a cookie, and a bag of chips. What the fuck is that kind of a lunch? And then they wonder why you're sleeping at your desk at 3 o'clock, because you've been exposed to the chips and the cookies, and then you wonder why everybody's going to sleep. So that's the problem. You've been programmed. So when you try to program yourself, thank you, Bobby Bo. Yeah. So now we're trying to program ourselves, and we discover, oh fuck, this is what we should be eating: is avocados and dark chocolate and omelets and all the steaks we can eat and chicken and all the protein we want. We're not watching calories. We're watching sugar, and we're watching carbs, which is sugar. So we stay away from cereals. We stay away from breakfast. Once and then that's your own decision, and that's your own diet. So why would you get off of it when that's the diet to get on? So but by watching that doctor I showed you, it's easy, right? Because when he does it, it makes sense to us, right, Bobby? It's like, no, we're INFJs. That makes, if somebody's talking to us and they're teaching us and it makes sense, then we believe it, and then we can follow it. If it doesn't, like these other guys on gold and silver that keep going to Comax, we turn them off, go, no, these are idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. So we're very clever about the real world and the bullshit. So that's where we're at with this. And that's so, then he did the one on, now he's got a new video out. He did the 10 worst drinks. It's all sugar, like Gatorade, 5-Hour Energy. Just be careful with all that. It's all sugar. It's all terrible for you. But they'll sell it as like, 5-Hour Energy is just, it's caffeine and it's a lot of sugar. And he's saying, don't eat it. It's not healthy for you. But they'll sell it as a health food, or they'll sell Gatorade as a health food. Well, it'll reinvigorate your electrolytes. Yeah, well, at the University of Florida, it's 100 degrees there, and they're playing baseball or they're playing football, and anything that goes in the system is going to regenerate. They can just throw water in. But the Gatorade doesn't really help the football players. It's the water they're drinking, and there's a lot of sugar in it. So that's the problem. But so that's what he talked about. And then he's got one on, he just put out the 10 best foods to eat, which I'm sure are avocados and veggies and steaks. I've seen it before, and it's all very healthy stuff. There's no carbs, there's no bread, there's no sugary stuff, there's no candy. And he'll put avocado on it, and he'll put broccoli on it, and all that kind of stuff. And then I go to Gordon Ramsay, and I learned how he had eggplant on it, and I don't know how to make an eggplant. And so I watched Gordon Ramsay, and he kind of bakes it. And takes too long to bake. But I just stay away from eggplant. But I don't know. Everything else, like I just got some asparagus and squash, and I just put them in the frying pan, put some olive oil, salt and pepper and butter on them, and they taste fine. I mean, that was perfect. All right, I want to show you, I'm going to switch if there's anything else to poker. I was watching Rounders. I left all my fucking movies in Alabama at the movers. So I found this Pluto TV, and I found Euro Trip on it, which I love. And then I found rounders on it. So I keep watching the two. And I'm the type that can watch, Euro Trip rounders, Euro Trip rounder. So I see rounders and I keep going, this is the stupidest movie. Nobody's this stupid. I want to dig into it. This is a 4-minute video of the beginning of the movie. And I will walk through all the mistakes this guy who thinks he's the greatest guy since sliced bread does. So bear with me for 4 minutes. Very entertaining. It's the opening of Rounders where the guy gets the shit beat out of him, but it's good. I like seeing that. Sorry for the volume.
There's no other game in which fortunes can change so much from hand to hand. A brilliant player can get a strong hand cracked to go on the tip and lose his mind along with every single chip in front of him. This is why the World Series no is decided over and over and over again.
Bullshit.
Pros even won't play no limit.
Bullshit.
But there are others, like Doyle Brunson, who consider no limit the only pure game life.
Bullshit.
Like Papa Wallenda said, life is on the wire. The rest is just waiting. So position rise and hold.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right now. So this is the big hand. I'm just gonna interrupt as we're watching to explain it. So he's got ace-9 of clubs and he raises. He's not asking himself the question I always tell you. Why does Teddy KGB call and only call and not raise? He's not asking himself the basic question. So he's got ace-9. We don't know what Teddy KGB has, but I have a feeling by checking back, I know exactly what he's got at this point because he would be more aggressive and come over the top like he does at the end of the movie when he's got kings and Teddy KGB tries to bluff him. So when he's trying to bluff, he bets a lot. When he checks, he's got a hand. And that's what I've told you about bluffers. When they check, they got a hand. He is not asking himself why this guy's checking. Why is he just calling? He's not and why is he raising with ace-9 of clubs? Is not a good hand. I wouldn't even play ace-9 of clubs. Okay, so let's go to the flop.
Here's the beauty of this game. Okay, I just got top 2 pair on the flop, and I want to keep him in the hand. Against your average guy, I'd set a bear trap, hardly bet at all, let him walk into it. But KGB is too smart for that. So what I've got to do is overbet the pot. Make it look like I'm trying to buy it. But he does, then he plays back at me, and I get paid off.
Now, how he misses this tell is beyond me. If he keeps saying you read your opponent, the guy eats fucking cookies and he doesn't read that that's the tell. Okay, so so what did I tell you about tells? I said when the guy drinks at the table, he's comfortable and relaxed, and he's taking a drink, means he's got a hand, because if he's bluffing, he's just going to be still, right? So what does this guy do? He pulls out Oreo cookie and eats it. Now, this is not uncommon for this guy to eat Oreo cookies or have the cookies with him. And he's yet to pick up the tell that when he eats the Oreo, he's got the hand, and when he doesn't eat it, he doesn't. Seriously? Are you kidding me? This guy's supposed to be a big, I want to be a pro and move to Vegas, and he can't catch that tell on this guy? Really? That's the first thing. Then what does he do? He just calls him. What are you calling me with? Okay, I have top two pair. What are you calling me with? Now, later in the hand, he's going to talk about a flush. Why isn't he betting more? Like he said, I'll lay a bear trap on him. Aren't you worried about the flush that you seem to be worried about later? All right, so let's go to the turn.
Button 87. There's my money card, 9 of hearts. I got full house. This is a bit though. Now I hope a spade falls and Tim makes his flush.
Now I hope the spade falls and he makes the flush. But you're not worried about that on the flop when you got your two pair. Aren't you worried about the spade dropping? Now the 9 hits. I got my full house. Well, wait a minute. What does he say? The first thing he says is, you don't play your hand, you play the guy across from you, which is very confusing anyway. So if you're going to play the guy across from you, what is the guy across from you saying? You bet, he calls, then he checks to you and you check. And this is a very aggressive player. So a very aggressive player who's checking has a monster hand. So you have the full house. Not once thinking he's got the aces full. Why not? Because he didn't raise pre-flop, but you made it 500. He's got aces. It's heads up. He calls you. You don't ask what he's calling with. Then you hit 2 pair. You have no idea if it helped him. You bet $2,000. He calls you, but you're betting $2,000 because you don't want to look obvious by checking, and you're irrelevant to the 2 spades are on board, and you might have, and he's not, and you're worried about him having a flush. You don't know you're going to get the 9. So the whole orchestration of the flop and the 2 cards and then the flop are all bullshit. He played them both terribly. He should have checked the ace-9. And then when he hits the top 2 pair, he should have made a big bet because there's spades out there. And then if the guy just checks him, now you got to go, is he checking me looking for the flush or did he hit a set? Now it's hard to pick a set of aces when there's an ace on the board and you have the ace. There's 2 aces left and the odds of him having one, but you can't play that. You got to play the way the player plays the hand. So the player's sitting there setting the trap that this guy said, I'll set the trap. And he doesn't even understand or think that he might be the one getting trapped. Okay.
I hit that strong and I'll beat him with my 9s full over aces.
Let's go back just a drop to see the flop. Or to see the river.
There's my money card, 9 of hearts. I got full house. This is a bit though.
Pretty comfortable, isn't he?
Spade falls and Teddy makes his flush. That way he'll bet strong and I'll beat him with my 9s full over aces. Yet.
So he goes check, call, check, 15,000. And this guy doesn't put him on a hand. What do you think he's betting 15,000 on? With the pair of 9s out there, you would never do it with the flush. You'd be worried about a full house. Anytime you have a flush and there's a pair on board, you got to play it slow. Now this comment's stupid. He says, well, I'm thinking of Vegas. Look at him. Look how confident he looks. Well, you just said you thought he had the spades. So what do you think he's betting on? What do you think he made it 15,000 on? What an idiot. This guy deserved to lose everything. Yeah, big surprise. So you never thought he had aces, and you play the player. Okay, so we'll watch it again without my interruptions. But first of all, what do I tell you? Ask why. Why did he call me? Why did he raise? If he would have done that when he bet 2 grand, maybe he can put him on a flush draw. Then the 9 hits, and why if you got him on a flush draw are you checking? Right? He saw the 2,000. You don't know where you're at. That's the problem he had there. So he bets the 2,000, thinks he's on a flush draw. You hit your full house. You should be betting it. And he checks to you. So he's telling you he's checking. Now you don't know where you're at. And then the spade comes and you immediately put him on a flush that because you got your full house, you're going to slow play it. And then he bets 15,000 and you don't ask, why did he bet 15,000? Oh, I assume he hit a flush. He's betting 15,000 on. That's absolutely ridiculous. Oh yeah, it's an overbet. He doesn't want to call. He's bluffing. Bullshit. Even if he is, you don't. Okay, if you don't think he's got a big hand with check 15,000, you don't know what you're doing. But let's say you don't, then just call the bet. Oh, I got a full house. You got a flush. I've got you beat, so I'm going to go after all of it. And it's asinine poker. He's not reading the guy. He doesn't read the Oreo cookie eat. That is the biggest tell of the whole thing is he eats the Oreos. He's comfortable. He's got the hand. You're never putting him on. He's got an ace. Why aren't you putting him on? He's got an ace. What is he calling? And then he's checking to you both on the. He's checking you on the flop, and you make it 2,000. Then he checks to you on the turn, which you check back, and then he bets 15,000. And you're not putting this together, and you don't even think for a minute he's got a pair of aces because he didn't raise pre-flop. That goes back to knowing the player. Well, what does he normally do with aces? And later on, at the end of the movie, where they're playing heads up, and the guy wins the money back. He is very aggressive. So for him so you don't know the player at all. If he's just checking the pre-flop, he has a big hand because he normally bets. So at the end, when he comes back, the guy has kings, he makes a big bet onto the kings. And I think he bet, I don't know, a couple thousand, and then he tried to bluff him. And he goes, I don't think you have the aces. And he goes all in and he wins. Well, that's what would have happened here. You made the bet. He would have made it 10 grand because that's how he plays. But when he checks, it's clear a big better checking. A bluffer who checks has got a big hand. And I've told you that before. You watch. You see person who bluffs. When they start checking, I fold. I'm out. I'm beat. I know I'm beat. So the other thing is, if he's going to go all in, he should have went all in. He should have went all in on the probably on the turn, or he should have made a much bigger bet on the flop. Because now at the end, he's worried about the spade. Well, he's not worried about him, but he thinks he might have a flush. If he had 4 spades on the flop, you should have bet the flop heavy because all you got is shit 2 pair. And if he does hit the flush, so the 9 hit, which really hurt him. But if the 9 doesn't hit, and now he's got aces and 9s, and then the spade hits, and he thinks he's got the flush, he's fucked. So you want to get him out. You got to play protection. So the correct way to play that hand is understand the player who he's playing against, which he had no clue on. He had no clue the guy got aces, but he should have had a clue. You start paying for $30,000. You better know how the player across from you plays. And that's the point. What does he do? He normally is heavy aggressive, which later on in the movie, he's heavy aggressive. So I got ace 9. I don't know why he's raising. He made it, I think, 500, and the guy just calls. That's the first red flag. Wait a minute. He normally would have raised my ass. He's calling. He's setting me up. Then the ace nine comes of two spades. I got two pair. I'm betting $5,000 on that. Now, if he calls, is he going to call me on a flush draw? At what point is he going to throw away a flush draw or call me on it? Then he gets really fucked when the 9 hits. So now he's got his full house, and now he should have never checked the turn, because that is the tell card. Oh, I hope he catches the flush, and I got no. You got to check where you're at. So I would have bet $10,000 on the full house at the turn. I don't want the spade to come out at the river. Well, I guess I do, but I don't know I'm going to hit the full house. So the full house hits. I got the 9. So now I got 9s full of aces. Now I'm going to bet. Now there's a pair of 9s out there. I got the best 9 ace. At best, he's got 9 ace. Let's see what he does. If he calls, or let's see how he calls. Why is he calling? And that's going to slow me right down. You cannot, in other words, the first thing he says is you play the other person. And then what's he do? He doesn't play the other person. He doesn't read the Oreo cookie obvious tell. He doesn't read he's slow playing. And then, I'm going to put him on a flush. You didn't put him on the flush on the flop. Now you're putting him on a flush on the river. And why would you think he's got a flush? So just so many mistakes this guy makes. So that's what I talk about, right? The tells, right? He ate the Oreos. Even if it's the first time I'm sitting down with somebody, if they take a drink, right? So they're betting and they take a drink, pretty much I'm putting him on a hand right off the bat. He's comfortable, he's drinking. Because when you're bluffing, you ain't doing nothing. Then so he bets, I think he bets 2,000 on the flop. The guy calls. Is the guy calling with the check is he calling on a flush draw? He didn't raise you. So he's either being careful or he's trapping you. And you got to know this guy. Then when the 9 comes, you should have bet it and not, I think he's on a flush draw. I want to see where he's at and then see if he calls or raises me. I don't know what he would have done. If he would have bet $5,000 on the turn, I've hit my full house, because you just bet $2,000 on the flop. Why would you check? Right? Oh, you hit your full house. I'd bet $5,000 and then let the guy come over the top. And then I got to say, would he normally hunt for a flush draw for $5,000? And then he would know what the guy has. And then then all of a sudden a $15,000. He didn't go all in. He went $15,000. And not only are you not just calling it, but you're going all in. Now you've got $30,000. It's for college. It's for Vegas. It's very important. And you're re-raising a $15,000 bet with the pair of 9s on board, and you're not even, the fact he didn't re-raise you on the flop, you're not even thinking it's a slow play. And that's it. Like this poker talk session, it's fun, knowledgeable. Well, thank you, Bobby. Well, that's what I'm trying to do every time I see something to add value to teach. That's why I'm the professor, of course. But that's why I like Money Heist so much, because the professor's on the board teaching, and I'm just like, fuck yeah, that's me. So that's really, when you're playing poker, you have to know the guy you're playing. And if somebody starts eating in front of you in the middle of a hand, he's probably pretty comfortable, right? Because think about what's a bluff. You're trying to hide that you're weak. You're going to make a big bet, right? By the way, I am looking to start my fast an hour early today and eat last meal at 4 and eat tomorrow at 11. So it'll now be a 9-hour fast. Don't worry about it. 18, 19 hours. It's when you get into the 40s. You want the autography to work after 18. Like if you want your knee to feel better, you got to do a 48-hour fast. So really all you're doing, you just want to skip eating tomorrow and then the next day eat lunch. But I wouldn't worry so much. 18, 19 hours. I don't think it's just, I eat lunch, I eat dinner, I eat the next day lunch, I eat the next day dinner. I don't really look at the time if I'm in the middle of research for the class or watching a gold thing or a guy. No, when it's over, I eat. I have a cup of coffee or a water. I mean, so I eat that and then I'm not as hungry and I'm not putting anything in that's really going to make me hungry anyway. I mean, I had for snackish, I had cauliflower and cucumber in my Thousand Island, Ken's Thousand Island with the tea. I mean, that was a snack instead of Fritos and Oreo cookies. Bobby Woe has to get the mind all right to do it, though, as I get hungry in the mornings. Why are you getting hungry in the morning? And then if you are getting hungry in the morning, have a tea, have a green tea, or have a water. You're probably thirsty. So what I would say is, as soon as you get up, take a big glass of water. I usually put maybe some cinnamon in it and a lemon. I squeeze some lemon in it and I drink 2 of these. And I guarantee you won't be hungry for a while. And that's part of, not a trick, but that's part of how you fast for so long. So if I do that every morning, I can do a 72-hour fast without a problem because you're more or less dehydrated. So really the trick to the fast is drinking more. That'll take your dehydration away and you'll find you're not as hungry. You'll be filled up on the water is what I'm saying. I actually be more hungry at night, I should say. For instance, I eat now at 4, then I'll be starving at 9. Well, then have your tea and have your water at 9. What are you eating that's making you hungry? Or this is why you eat at 5. If 4 is too early, eat at 5. Have another steak or whatever you're eating. Have more meat. If you're having burgers or that, if you have 1, have 2. That's the thing. It's like I can eat and eat, and then I got to stop. And that's what the next time I can eat is when the window opens back up at 11. Then I can eat at that point, and then it's 5 o'clock. I got to close the window, but I can drink. And that's what you focus on is that. So it's not even you get the hours out of your mind. Is the window open or closed? And then when the window's open, I'm eating. I'm having whatever, the 90% chocolate. I'm eating, a hamburger, a steak, a salad, cauliflower, whatever I'm eating. The dark chocolate is when the window is open, and then you eat your dinner. Now it's whenever you got done. It's 5 o'clock. You're done, and then if you get hungry at 9, it's just have a tea, have a water. But if you eat the right food, you won't get hungry at 9. Or if you do, it just takes a day or 2 to kind of kill that. And then you wake up. But when you do that and you wake up, you're so happy. You're going, fuck, I didn't eat after dinner. Everything's great. At nighttime, advice to pass out while starving, just put on a movie. Do some football stuff. I would say don't go to the grocery store, but go to the mall. Just get out or go on YouTube and look at the gold stuff to keep your mind off. Although you got to watch all the fucking commercials. But like tonight, we got the basketball game. It's going to be hard because they're going to have all these McDonald's commercials and everything. Here, Burger King closed 24 stores because they're all going bankrupt. And I read McDonald's, some of their stores are bankrupt. See, this is my point about inflation. Even though the costs go up to you, you cannot strictly pass it on to the customer because the customer is not about to pay extra because your costs went up. This is my vitamin D. I'm going to try it for my feet. Not much taste, but can't help to have vitamin D with my feet. So it's the accumulation of those 18-hour fasts that do the job. Well, it cleans you. So every time you're going 18 hours, you're putting less food. You don't want to eat 6 times a day, and then you keep shoveling food in all day, early, late. You really don't give your body a chance to, let's just say you're playing shortstop and you get 5 ground balls hit at you at the same time. You're probably not going to catch all 5, I would guess, even you. You want one at a time, but so you only really want 2 ground balls. All right, give me one. Okay, now give me the other one. And then, now I'm going into hit. So you really don't want to get a bunch of, things. So you don't want to eat 6 times a day. You want to eat twice a day, but you're allowed to nibble. So if you have an apple, you have an orange, you have something, have it in your window. So have your breakfast. Go have an omelet, man. Go make a omelet. Cut up green peppers and onions and yellow and red peppers and mushrooms and put them in. Put some turkey or chicken meat in it and make a 3-egg omelet and put it in there. And then at 12 o'clock, you're eating that. You're not hungry for a long time. And then dinner, I'll have a steak and I'll have chicken and a big salad and a bunch of water. And believe me, you're not hungry at night if you do that. And it's just, yes, it's something you get used to, but you're rewarding yourself by doing it. You wake up, you're going, yeah, I haven't eaten since 7 o'clock and I can't wait. Look what I've done. And it's a reward that you were able to do that. And you just slowly, maybe you don't start at 18, maybe you start at 14, and then you slowly, your last meal is at 7 is now at 6, and you eat at 10. Now you eat at 11 in the morning. So you're basically, your snack's going to end up being water and tea with lemon. And that's what your snack's going to be, not food. You're not going to be having chips and Oreos and ice cream and a piece of cake. You don't even want that in the fucking house, right? So in your house is strictly, if you're going to have an 8 o'clock snack, it's going to be cauliflower and Thousand Island dressing. And then guess what? You only have 2 or 3 cauliflowers. You're not eating a whole bag of chips. So a lot of it comes into what you have in the house. And it's very hard with the commercials. You see a Dairy Queen or a Burger King, you're like, fuck, or pizza. Pizza's got to be the worst food on earth. It's all fucking sugar. It's the bread. It's the cheese. The pepperoni's okay. But I mean, you're eating a whole fucking big slice of bread with cheese on it. Fuck, why don't you just have 10, a big pound of sugar instead? Because you're not eating one piece of the pizza, you're eating 3 or 4 pieces of the pizza. So you got to be very careful with that. Like what I did with the chips at the Mexican, I ate the whole fucking bowl. That's the problem. Although I did feel good because I taught her about gold. And I told her to go get gold, and I explained why. I was doing this the day I did my Titanic one. And I felt really good that I at least, yes, I have to go through gout, but I helped her with her gold to protect her. So that's what you do, Bobby, is it's a reward when you can eat at 10 and then 4 or even 4:30. Go have 2 steaks if you need, as much as you need to eat at 4 o'clock, and then just you're done. So go figure it out. Go bowling. Go play pool. Go out for a walk at the lake. Take a drive. Go to the mall. Just get the fuck out of a normal eating place, or put on a good movie, a Netflix or a DVD where it's not going to be commercials to look at, and off you go, and then you're fine, and then you get tired, you go to sleep, and then you wake up and it's 7, 8 o'clock the next day, and you've done it. You've gone 12 hours right there without eating, right? 5, and you get up at 7, you've gone 14 hours without eating. And then you just wait till 11 and then you can go eat. But see, don't keep bagels in the house and chocolate cake and Pop-Tarts and Coke and all that shit. Just don't keep it in the house. I don't know how difficult that is, but that's the key to it. If I don't have it, not going to run to the grocery store to get it. And then, on a Saturday, I treat myself with Chinese food, and I might get a Diet Coke, and I might get a little piece of cake as my treat day. And then I'm back mostly during the week eating as healthy as I can. When my foot bothers me is when I really get tight and just, then I try to do a big fast because I know that'll help me because I know my body will fix it. So that's why I really don't have a doctor. I just need a doctor to get the pills because once in a while I need the colchicine or like here, the vitamin D or whatever. I need that to fix it. But that's why I will fast instead of having a doctor. So that's what I am. So I'm going to shut up and we'll watch the poker one more time.
Texas Hold'em is the Cadillac of poker. Each player is dealt 2 cards face down. 5 cards are then dealt face up across the line. These are community cards everyone can use to make the best 5-card hand. The key to the game is playing the hand, not the cards. There's no other game in which fortunes can change so much from hand to hand. A brilliant player can get a strong hand cracked to go on the tilt and lose his mind along with every single chip in front of him. This is why the World Series of Poker is decided over no limit hold'em tables. Some people, pros even, won't play no limit. They can't have the swings. But there are others, like Doyle Brunson, who consider no limit the only pure game life. Like Papa Wallenda said, life is on the wire. The rest is just waiting. That's raise pattern. Oh, so position rise and pull. Here's the beauty of this game. I just got top 2 pair on the flop, and I want to keep him in the hand. Against your average guy, I'd set a bear trap, hardly bet at all, let him walk into it. But KGB's too smart for that. So what I gotta do is overbet the pot, make it look like I'm trying to buy it. Bet 2,000, then he plays back at me, and I get paid off. My guess is Teddy's on a flush draw. Button in turn. There's my money card, 9 hearts. I got full house. This is a bet though. Now I hope a spade falls and Teddy makes his flush. That way he'll bet strong and I'll beat him with my 9s full over aces. Yet. 15.
What's he call timeout for? There's no timeouts.
I want him to think that I'm pondering a call, but all I'm really thinking about is Vegas and the fucking Mirage.
He just bet 15 grand. He's not going anywhere. What the fuck are you talking about? Pondering a call. Worst written movie I've ever seen.
I did 15 plus I had another 33 to raise. I'm gonna go all in because I don't think he got space.
You definitely don't think he's got the full house. Fucking idiot.
Spades. Sign out before the cards are getting turned over. Aces.
I love it. So the guy's a moron, as we see. He doesn't ask, why did he bet 15? He doesn't. He says, I'm going to keep him in the hand with my 2 pair. And then all of a sudden he's like, well, I think he might have I think he's on a flush draw. Well, if you thought he was on a flush draw on the flop, why did you only bet $2,000? You would have bet 10 because you got 2 pair and you don't want him to catch the flush draw. Then you get incredibly unlucky by getting the full house and you don't ask, why is he checking? It's just unbelievable. All right, Bobby. So is the elimination okay? Or watch some old school WWF wrestling. Yeah, well, you could do that, or an old football game. I was watching a 73-72 USC game against Notre Dame, and it was Lynn Swann and Anthony Davis and Sam Cunningham in the backfield. Lynn Swann and J.K. McKay, the receivers. It was beautiful. Then I was watching a 71 Penn State Tennessee game, and there's Lydell Mitchell and Franco Harris in the backfield. And back in those days, they had good running backs as fullbacks. Like now they're blocker backs. Back then you had Michigan, Ohio State had good running backs, and then that. What does the vitamin D? Just healthy. I mean, I'm hoping for my foot. I don't really know. It's just something that you normally keeps you healthy. I can get 5 ground balls, Professor, maybe not 10, but I can grab 5. Yeah, well, but not at the same time. You want at different times. But yeah. So again, it's a lot of it is human psychology. So let's look at that. Let's look at that poker hand with human psychology. He's so confident. He plays a bad hand, aces and 9 against aces, never questions the guy checking to him. And then he makes it, $500. The guy calls. Okay, the guy could call with anything. But like I said, how does he play a big hand? Does he normally slow play it or high play it? Maybe whatever. Then we get into what is he doing with the he hits the 2 pair and then he starts thinking maybe he's on a flush draw because I bet $2,000 and he called. Now I put him on a flush draw. What did you put him on when the ace 9? You didn't put him on anything. You basically played your hand and didn't think anything about the guy that he keeps checking. He's slow playing me. He's laying the bear trap that I'm telling you I should lay, but he's too smart for it. And it's all psychology. Then he hits his full house. He doesn't bet it. Why aren't you? Oh, now I hope he hits his flush draw and I'll get him with the full house. And you're like, okay, dude, what do you, he's on a flush draw? You sure? He's checking. Would he check a flush draw on the flop? So if he actually had king, queen, a spades, and the flop comes ace 9, is he going to check to you? Is that how he normally plays his flush draws? Would he, if you bet $2,000, would he have raised you on a flush draw? This you don't know. Would he normally eat an Oreo cookie and then he calls you? Is that not a big tell there? So there's all these big tells that he's absolutely just ignoring. So he's just playing his own. He's just playing his own hand. He's not. What does he do? He lectures you on. You don't play your hand. You play the guy next to you, or the guy. You play his hand, not yours. And yet, what does he do? He plays his hand. He never looks at the opponent. Never puts him on anything. Finally puts him on a flush, and then the guy bets 15,000. Is the guy going to bet nothing on the flush draw, nothing on the turn, and then he hits his flush? He's going to bet 15,000. Really, and then he comes up with the, then he bets $15,000. Now he gets greedy. Instead of just calling the $15,000, going, geez, I wonder what he's betting so much for. He goes all in for $30,000 and the guy calls him. Well, wait a minute. This is your college money. you don't make this. You can't afford to lose this. What are you doing? And then the guy calls him, and then he knows he's got the ace. Now he's figured out he's got the. Where was that when he bet the 15,000? Oh, all I'm thinking about is Vegas. I'm just pondering. What are you pondering for? There's no reason to ponder. You just put in 15 grand. You could go all in. You only had 3,300 back. What's the ponder? If he's got the flush, he's betting 15 grand. He's going to call whatever if you raise him. So terribly played, not knowing the guy. Now, later on, what happens at the end? To win, he flops a straight, right? He has 8-9 of spades, 6-7-10, and the guy's betting and betting and betting. He had pocket aces then. He made a small bet on the pre-flop. Then the flop comes. He made a pretty big one and thought the guy was looking for a straight, and then catches the third ace on the river. So the guy ends up with 3 aces at the end, and he goes all in and he calls and he hits the straight. That's what he should have done here. He should realize he didn't play the hand the same way. So anyway, that's poker. You've got to ask. You don't know what he's got. You've got to first figure out how does he play, and you got to second figure out what is he. See, if you check, you can't get any information out of him, right? You don't know what the hell information he's got, right? Because, right, you're not, if you check, you don't get any information. So he bet 2,000, the guy called him, then he checks. He should have bet like 5 grand on the turn with the 9, because now there's nines on the board. And then if he does bet the turn, he gets the information needed. The guy probably calls him or raises him. Maybe he raises him at that point. But you've got to think about what's the betting, what's the raising, what's going on. And he never does that. It looks like gold's up. Let's see. So that's all I'm saying. In a blind thing like that, you must play. Gold's up $15 and silver's there. So in a thing like that, you have to understand. You have to try to figure out what the guy is calling you with. Let's see if I got my Toyota answer. Hopefully positive, and hopefully I get my check. No, I haven't heard yet today. So you missed, Bobby. I had looked at my W-2. It was too much. And then it was actually a check I was supposed to get for relocation back to Detroit, which nobody told me about. And when I moved, like right when it was in transmission, so I never got the check and I never cashed it. But there's a check for like 5 grand that apparently I'm waiting on. So I will. I'm waiting to hear from the VP at Toyota about them to void it out and resend a new one. So we will see. But anyway, I will email them in a little bit when I'm done here about what's going on. So psychologically, what did the guy do? Matt Damon then gets greedy, not even looking at the guy. I got a full house, that's going to win. And he bets 15 grand, and I'm not even going to ask why is he betting it. Would he bet 15 grand on a flush with a pair of 9s out and all that? So yes, you slow play, but is that common? Are you going to slow play? Is he going to slow play? See, you've got to know the way the guy's mind thinks, and that's by watching him in other hands. if he's got aces, is he going to slow play it? And then if he's got aces, does he bet the big 15 grand at the end? I mean, at the end, he bets 15 grand. Does he have a hand or is he bluffing? More than likely, check, 15 grand, he ain't bluffing. So that's a very easy tell to read, and the Orioles and stuff like that. So he wasted 30,000 on a hand that he should never probably. I'm against playing the ace nine, but if you are playing the ace nine, you're really playing it for a flush. He gets lucky to catch the full house. And the guy trapped him good because he didn't make a big bet with the aces there, but he picked up on it late in the movie when he has kings and he makes the bet, and the guy makes a big bet, and he should have thought, well, wait, when we did the early beginning of the movie, he had aces, he didn't make a big bet. Now I make a bet. Now he's making this big bet but he doesn't normally play aces that way. He's going to slow play it. So he was right at the end of the movie, but he should never have gotten into that trouble. And he should have asked, why is he betting 15 grand? So that's poker all in one. When you play a player like that, so he gave you so many tells. First, he's slow playing his aces, which you're not even looking at. You think he's on a flush draw, but you don't bet the flop or the turn big. The fact that the full house. Okay, one rule is if there's a pair on board and I got a flush, I am checking it because I am really afraid. I'm going to bet a very small amount, afraid of a full house, right? Because once there's a pair on board, you can have a full house and beat me. So I'm going to be very careful. It's just like if I have a straight and there's 3 diamonds on board, I'm not going to bet a lot on it. I'm worried about the flush. Straights don't beat flushes, so you got to worry about that. But that would be the key there. So that's why you watch other people, but it's in everything, right? It's asking a girl out at the gym. It's being with people at work, anything. It's the tells. It's, oh, they're eating, they're comfortable. They're not eating, they're not comfortable. They're smiling, they're not smiling. You're getting this tell. Like I can tell everything about Jenna, but I am an INFJ. When we're out, if she's upset, I'll know it. If she's happy, I'll know it just by looking at her face and she's smiling and okay. If she's mad, you'll get that pout in the eyes. So you know exactly without talking what's going on. And that's what's happening. So with that said, that's right. Alabama's an hour ahead, so it's only 2:30 there. So I got a while to call. And hopefully everything works. It didn't get cashed, and they'll reissue the check, and I'll have another $5 grand to go on a vacation with. That'll be nice, and we will see. So I'm in the middle of a scam, I think, with some girl. She sends me this bullshit thing to meet her. Right? Oh, I want to meet you, but you got to fill out this form. She sends me this bullshit form, and then on it says to complete the paperwork, you have to submit $1,600. I just started laughing, like, yeah, that's not going to happen. I've never seen that kind of scam before. So I like doing this just to play along and just see the scam, and then I can teach you guys. So met the girl on Instagram. She wants to meet, but I got to fill out a form. I said, well, I'm not paying for you. I'm not paying you. You want to come, you like me, then come. So she's sitting there. Well, you got to fill out a form for my manager. Okay. I don't put any, there's no information you're going to get me on. Fortunately, didn't ask for a birth date or banking or Social Security. So it's really kind of a vanilla name and address type of thing. And then where's your closest airport? Now, the funny part, it says next of kin, but they misspell next, and then it says beneficiary, and I'm like, what the fuck are you asking? Who asked that, right? Beneficiary and who's next to kin? You know, I guess my brother. Or, I mean, what the fuck? And then beneficiary. Bobby Bo is my beneficiary. I'm like, what the fuck does that matter? You're not. I don't know what they're asking for, so I don't know the scam. It's not a contract, so I'm not giving her $1,600. I told her, what's the 1,600? And she says, oh, I'll take care of it. And I'm like, I'm not paying you a penny. Like, you want to come. It'll be like a normal date, but I'm not paying out. This is a type where the girl won't even give me a picture of herself. Really, you can send a picture of yourself? I've never seen that before. Even the scammers, the girls that scam you, can send pictures. You don't know. I mean, anybody can send a picture of this girl. Just go online, check her up, send the picture. I mean, it's very obvious. So I've got 99.5% odds on it being a scam and 0.5% that it's real. I don't believe it's real, but we will see. And I won't give a nickel. Now, if she wants to come here, I said, I'll pick you up at the airport if you want to come, if you're real. But she's got a short window because on the 13th, I'm out of here and for a week. So we will see. But anyway, another internet scam that is so stupid. It's unbelievable. But I like to play just to see what the scam is. And let's see. So, hope you enjoyed the poker. Very good. Tomorrow I got a dentist appointment. I don't know what time it's at. I went in for my little tooth, and then it's like, and I had to pay him, and then they said, well, come on in for the cleaning will be free because you paid for the tooth. Let's see. I don't know what time it's at. Oh, wait, that's booking. Ah, here it is. 2 o'clock tomorrow. So I'll probably do the show earlier. And the apartment lost power, so they don't have internet. Anyway, so everything's about human emotion and logic. Why did he check? Why did he bet 15,000? Why am I ignoring his $15,000 bet and only playing my cards when I'm telling you to play your cards? So there's a lot of things that go into this that really make no sense about that, right? So he doesn't understand why he's checking. He doesn't understand why he's eating an Oreo, and he doesn't understand the $15,000 bet. So he's betting into a monster, and he's supposed to be this great pro, and he doesn't understand what he's looking for. And this is the problem with poker. You play your own hand, and he walked right into his own trap. It's, then the rest of the movie, he comes across like this real smart guy. And I really hate Edward Norton. I can't stand that guy. If I saw him in public, I'd probably beat the shit out of him. What an obnoxious guy. He plays an obnoxious guy. He looks like an obnoxious. I would never, as an INFJ, he immediately comes across as a troublemaker that, I've told people, if I saw George Clooney or Brad Pitt, I would walk right by him. I wouldn't even acknowledge them because I'm not impressed with them. However, if I meet the professor in Tokyo in Spain, I'm going to walk up to him and say, great show, thank you. But if I met if I met Brad Pitt and George Clooney there, I wouldn't even acknowledge him. I hate when people get all like, "Oh, it's George Clooney. He's a big star." Fuck, he's an actor. He's not a star. He's nothing. These guys are nothing. They're just useless. They're overpaid, and then they start acting political. Like, dude, you don't even know what a politician is. But that's what an INFJ. We're so strong, we don't get impressed by that. As Bobby said, the little bullshit. We like, strong ideas and views. So, but that I did. If I see the professor, I will get an autograph for everybody. Or I'll take a picture. That would be cool. He's in Spain. That's where Money Heist took place. Was in Madrid, and we're going to be in Barcelona. Close enough. What else? So that's all. It's all. If you just kind of watch, you'll pick up everything. You'll watch. If a girl looks at you, why? If she smiles at you, she likes you. I mean, and then if you look at her and she doesn't, then you don't even waste your time with the rejection and all the crap. You just you act. It's all the reaction, right? So if you say hi, how does she react? And if you look at her, does she look back at you? Part of my problem is I look at the girl and the girl doesn't. She's too shy to look back at me. Most of the time, but when they do, then I start talking with them. But it's the same at poker. It's the same anything. Same with football. Or if I start talking gold and some guy challenges me, but he doesn't understand bricks. He doesn't understand Comex. I stop talking. All right, you don't know what's going on. I was going to say you're too stupid, but you don't understand, and I don't have time to teach you from square one. Now, if you listen and just take my word for it that you want to own gold and silver because of bricks, if you're smart enough to do that, because the Titanic's going to zero. I think that was the best tape I ever did was the Titanic one because it really explains exactly. Everybody knows what the Titanic is. They know it's sunk, and we've hit the iceberg, and the dollar is sinking. So you either get into the other ship, gold and silver, or you sink. Your choice. I don't know how easier it is to make it. Now, I think the backlash is, we're not really sinking. Oh, really? So that's really the backlash is we're not sinking. And that's my point. I don't, that's not what's really happening. So anyway, so what else? Fasting gold. It's just a matter of time till everybody's jumping into gold. So let's say you're Matt Damon and you got money in the bank and you're too stupid to look at what's going on. And I've got $100,000 in my bank and that, it's like he had 30 grand. He had to go play poker. In the beginning of the movie, the other guy sits there and says, well, why don't you go to this other game that's 2040? You can beat that and keep building your bank. No, I got to play the whole 30 against this Russian mafia guy who apparently is a pretty good player who eats Oreos. And I've not figured out when he eats the Oreos or not. And I don't even have to be in the game. I can just watch, right? His friend was watching, didn't figure out the Oreo cookies and didn't say, hey, you know what? I've been there a lot. When he eats the Oreo, he's got a hand. And if he doesn't eat it, you got him. Even he didn't know. Like, what the fuck are you? You guys are all so smart. You don't catch the easiest tell in the world. As I say, when they go to have a drink, pop, beer, whatever, they got a good hand. They're comfortable. So I'm reading their comfort level. They made a bet and they're comfortable. Or they're watching the TV. They're comfortable. And I've never yet bet into a guy who's done it and won or watched and he's won. They're looking at the TV. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. They've got you crushed. They know it. they're not even concerned. There's no stress. They're very comfortable. So that's really the clue to it. So with that said, um, that's really what you do in life. You're looking for tells, you're looking for anything, bosses, coworkers, family, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever it is. You don't even need to communicate by talking. You just communicate by looking. Oh, they ate, they're eating, they're comfortable, they're not eating, they're not comfortable, they're watching the TV, they're bored or they're comfortable or whatever it is. They're not talking to me. There's a problem. What is it? You should already know what it is. You don't need to ask. You don't fight. It's a waste of time and energy. You don't waste your energies. What an INFJ does, because we need to recharge. So after this, I always take an hour to recharge, turn on TV, have a little lunch, and that's really what it's about. So you don't want to waste your energy. So you don't want to argue. I never argue. I was married 17 years. I don't think I ever argued. I knew when I was right and I knew when I was wrong. And I just said, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Then I got to recharge. So there's nothing worth it. I don't think I've ever had an argument with Jenna. A couple of times she wanted to spend a lot of money and I said no, but it wasn't an argument. It was just, no, she wanted a fur coat when we first met. And I looked at the price and I might have gotten it wrong. It might have been in rubles and I didn't divide it right. It probably, I thought it was 20,000, but it couldn't have been that much because they, who in the Ukraine could have afforded it. So it was probably, I don't know, maybe 200 or 500 or whatever. So I don't think I did the math right. And I said no to her. And, but it wasn't a fight. I just said it's too expensive. Or I might have been doing the math wrong. But that's like now, she wanted perfume last time. Fine, I got it. But, most of it I don't. She's smart enough to realize don't spend too much money. And I just don't. There's no need for an argument. I think it's stupid and childish. So I let it go. It's a waste of time. Just my thoughts. The only time I get upset is if I go to a restaurant and I get a meal and they burn it. I don't really get upset. I more or less fix it, right? Are you going to eat a burnt? I remember going to like a steakhouse and you get the steak and it comes burnt. And you go, are you going to eat this? I'm not. I can't eat a burnt piece of meat. And I get mad, like, why are you bringing this out to me? You should see it's burnt and not bring it out. Not thinking, aha, we'll bring them out a burnt piece and we'll eat it. No. I'm not like the rest of these guys. So it happened when I went for my birthday at the Boneyard. I had gotten the ribs chicken combination, both barbecue. They brought out the roasted chicken, 4 roasted pieces instead of the half barbecue. I said, I didn't order that. I had the barbecue chicken and rib combination. And the owner comes over, my buddy, and he says, what happened? Who did it? And I says, well, it wasn't the new girl, it was the other girl. She kept asking me, do I want white meat or dark meat? And I kept saying, I want the half barbecue. What are you talking about? It comes as a half chicken, like it's all together. And, but, it was like, just give me what I got. And so they replaced it. So I didn't get mad. But I will say something. I'm not going to I hate when people just eat it. Well, I'm going to eat, I didn't get the right meal, but I'm just going to eat it anyway. Fuck that. I'm paying for it. This is what I ordered. If you didn't give it to me, I want what I ordered. This is a restaurant. I mean, that I think is a no-brainer. I think anybody that just eats something that isn't theirs it's fucking ridiculous. I don't get the point. I ordered a hamburger and you bring me a hot dog. Why would I eat the hot dog? This is what I want. This is, you make hamburgers and hot dogs. So again, and then you read the waitress and you read the people, but that's what it is. It's when you play a poker or girls or whatever, you just read them. You just, what's going on. And they're pretty much normally shy if they don't know you. So you got to take that into consideration. And you just watch their body language and their eyes, and they'll tell you everything. You walk up to them and they give you their eyes and you say, hey, I'm the professor and they come back hopefully on Tokyo, then you're fine. And then you can kind of feel your way out. And then it's just getting them comfortable with you. That same thing in poker. You just get comfortable with the people you're playing so you can realize their hand. Like if I'm playing a bluffer, that Russian girl, and she bluffed a lot, and then all of a sudden she's checking, my spider senses went into overdrive going, she's fucking got a hand. She's not bluffing. In other words, if she was bluffing, she'd bet $100. And I buried her once. I got like a full house and she's trying to bluff me and I go over the top and I killed her. But then she starts checking and now I know, okay, she's got a big hand. And then I pulled her off to the side when we took a break and I said, you can't, if you're going to bluff, if you're going to bet when you bluff, you got to bet when you don't bluff because it's very obvious you have a hand when you don't bet. I could pick that up, but I guarantee you most of the room couldn't. And so she's lucky that it was me that saw it. But I said, you got to play it consistent. You've got to do the same thing consistently. If you bluff and then all of a sudden you check and you're betting and betting and betting and now you're checking, you just told everybody you got a hand. So, plus you're telling everybody you're bluffing because you're betting a lot. She'd win a lot of money, actually. The Russian women are real smart. Don't discount them. She was real pretty and she had a baby. So she's like 9.5 months pregnant. I start playing with her and then she has the baby and like the next week she's there and she's flat stomach and I go, man, do you have a sister? I was serious. Do you have a sister? She looks just like you, but she was pregnant. She goes, that was me. And I go, how can you be like almost like you didn't have a baby? I mean, it was ridiculous. But it was her. And that's how we kind of we never got together, but we were friends after that. She moved to Florida somewhere, Bobby. I think she's in Miami, where all the Russians go, all the Russian mafia. What else? So keep your eye on gold. It's going up. Don't get frustrated. It's COMEX. It's paper versus physical. We're waiting for physical to take over. And really, we're waiting for confidence. Once the people lose confidence in the banks, that's when the shit hits the fan. Now, right now, they started losing confidence, but you haven't heard of a bank closing in a couple of weeks now. Credit Suisse, but that's Switzerland. But you haven't heard. There's a bunch of banks on the bubble right now about to go bad. And once that all happens, now it's up to Yellen and Powell to keep them solvent, right? And that's the job of the central bank is to bail them out. And you're going to have a lot of bailouts, which is a lot of inflation and a lot of money being printed. So keep that in mind. You've got to be very careful with that. Anyway, I think that's about it. So I'm going to email Toyota about my check, but I probably won't know for a few days. He was going to call him today, and then somebody had to be there to answer it, and somebody had to be there to check the check and say, oh, yes, it wasn't cashed, and we're going to reissue it. So I'll give him one more day on that. Actually, I think I'll email him just to check on what's going on. But anyway, so that's what's going on here. My foot's better. I mean, when I was doing the show Friday, it was just swelling up, sitting like this. Today it feels okay, but it is it's weird. Now I'm fine, but when I start walking, like I don't know if I might go to the pool to soak my foot. I'm not going to work out, but I haven't worked out in a few days. Well, I worked out a little bit Saturday and Sunday, not a lot, but after I'm done with it, my feet are hurting. So if I do anything, it's just walking into the hot tub and sticking my foot in. But just trying to walk around, it makes it sore. So we'll figure it out. I'll probably do a couple days fast later in the week. I got too much food in the house. I don't want to fast, and then all the food goes bad. So I'm trying to do that. Outside of that, everything else is fine. So I'm leaving on the 13th, be back on the 20. I'll be back late the 21st. I probably won't do a show. I might do a show from Spain if something really happens, but it'll be a short one. You know, if there's something in Spain, they're not taking my dollars. I'll probably tell you how things go at the airport as far as me bringing a little gold and silver, which I'll give most of it to Jenna, but I'll probably keep some just in case I need it to get back. Where all of a sudden they're not taking American money, and I'm laughing, but I'm not. I mean, it's like this very easily could be what's going on. And I'll keep you updated on the scam. I'll talk to you about that probably tomorrow or the next day once I know. My guess is they'll ask me for more money for the girl to come, and I'm going to say, fuck off. I'm not giving you any money. I go visit Jenna in Spain. I get on the plane and go. Nobody pays me, and I don't pay her to meet me. I pay the plane ticket, and I pay the train. So she takes the train because the airports are closed in Ukraine, gets to Poland, takes the thing. I pay for the airplanes, and that's fine. But I know her. I won't pay this girl's airplane. I don't know her. Haven't met her. Can't get a picture. Yeah, I believe it's the girl. Yeah, sure it is. That's a 20-star lock. I'm betting the girl isn't real. 20 unit lock. Probably a 50 unit lock. And then obviously the Titanic or gold is the 100 unit lock. The funny part about gold is that attack on Wall Street, you cannot lose. It can never go to zero, and you can't lose, and it is real money. So if you took $100,000 and bought gold with it, you can't lose with it because it's not losing its value like the dollar is. This is losing value. So if you just looked at it at that, what do I want to own, this or gold? It's an easy thing. Gold's not an investment; it's money. So you're never thinking this is an investment. You're never trying to make money on it. You might take it to buy stocks to make money, but you're never trying to make money on the dollar. And that's the same thing. Now we're trying to make money on baseball cards, or we're trying to make money on gold and silver. That's a different story. So when I buy gold, it's money, but because it's been suppressed, I'm expecting the value of it to go up a lot. So in that case, it is an investment, and I am looking to sell it, but I am looking to get out of COMEX, which we know is fixed, and get to a more reasonable price. And again, we don't know what that is, but I think it's a lot more than 10,000 or 20,000. All right, everybody. I think that's about it. Bobby Bo, have a nice day. Work on your fast. What are you eating now? Everybody else, take care. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed our multiple things. I thought I'd bring in some poker, and I happened to catch the movie, so I brought that in. You just finished protein shake around 3, so I guess I'll start now. Well, go eat something. What's in the protein shake, Bobby Bo? Is there any sugar in that you're putting in that you need to watch? So you might be killing yourself without realizing, oh, I'm having a protein shake, and there might be chocolate in it. There might be sugar in it that you really don't want to have, and you think you're doing something healthy. So what are the ingredients? And be very careful. Because I know sometimes I'll want honey, even cinnamon in my coffee and tea late at night. And I really, cinnamon's a little sweet. And the same thing with honey. If I do have honey, I have it at noon, or like now, if I have a snack, I'm going to have honey. I'm not going to have it in a fast situation. So at 9 o'clock at night, I won't have honey. Although, again, every 3 or 4 days, a little, not even teaspoon is all. You put it in your coffee or tea. That's it. Or even in your water. Sometimes I'll put a tea bag in my water. I'll put a little honey. I'll squeeze a lemon. Then I don't have to warm up anything. I find that after the pool, I want to drink a lot of Diet Pop, and I got to be careful with it. So now I come home and I have ice water with cinnamon and lemon and a little honey, and I have 2 or 3 glasses of it, and it feels good. All the other shakes had much more, which is why I don't like getting them. There were some sugar, 18 grams, peanut butter, bananas, etc. Who makes this protein shake? Be careful, Bobby Bo. This is probably not. Bananas are a little high in carbs. You don't probably want to have that much sugar. Even in the salad dressing, it's like 3 or 4 sugars in it. So when we're having the French or the Thousand Island from my Ken's salad dressing with no high fructose corn syrup, there's a little bit of sugar, but if we just put it in the salad, we're okay with it. You can have some sugar, but in moderation. That's why some days I'll have the omelet and some days I'll have the salad. Because when I'm eating the omelet, I'm not putting any of the salad dressing in. And when I'm making when I make the salad, I do. So now I'll probably have a salad. I have a little bit of chicken breast left over, which I had for lunch. And I do have some tuna. Tuna was on sale last week. I did good. I went to Meijer's Thursday. I got tuna. Normally, like $5 was $2.50 for the big can, and I got some of that. I got some aluminum foil, which I cook a lot, and everything else. So a lot of it was there. But see, again, Bobby, you think you're eating right, but I don't know protein shakes. I would be careful. Like I used to eat Crystal Light, and then he says it's bad for you because of all the ingredients they put on there, even though there's no sugar. And so I threw out my Crystal Light, which I used to drink all the time, because of all the chemicals they put in there. I'd be careful with that. I think I'd switch to something else than protein shakes. And that's the thing. I used to think I was eating healthy until I watched this guy, and I'd have Cheerios and I'd have yogurt. And I'm thinking, I'll get Cheerios instead of Lucky Charms, and then it's like no carbs. I threw the cereal out. I threw the ketchup, the salad dressing, the Miracle Whip out, and I threw out the barbecue sauce, and I threw the yogurts out and the Crystal Light out, and was like, you can't eat it. And so you think you're doing a good job, but you're still fucking yourself over. So you got to be careful with that. Other shakes had much more, which is why I didn't like getting them. Yeah, you wonder what kind of they're regular shakes. If they're going to give you 20 ounces of sugar, you're on a lifestyle eating of no sugar or very, very little. And then you're going to get it from the salad dressing, not from a shake that has a bunch of sugars in it. So I don't eat anything with 18 sugars. Unless I get like a chocolate cake for the birthday or something, and I know I'm having the sugar. I have one, and then I always get like a piece. I don't get the whole cake or the whole pumpkin pie. You just grab a piece, a slice, maybe a bagel. You grab one, and you eat it. You enjoy it, and then you're back to regular because, after a while you want to eat some of that, and you don't want to deprive yourself, but you're so clean that you can eat it. So anyway, I think that's it. Have a wonderful day, everybody. All good. Again, tonight, I have no idea. Connecticut 7.5 over San Diego State. I think I liked it under, but after I thought San Diego State would play an under. I was dead wrong, and I thought Miami would play an over, and it was dead wrong. So I don't know anymore. I don't know the teams well enough, so I'm not really going to pick tonight. I guess I would take the under in the game because Connecticut seems to be a very strong defense against Miami. We know San Diego State's a very good. I guess I'd go under. What is it, 137 or something like that? That'd be the only way I'd play because I don't want to root for a team that's getting blown out, but I could root for an under. But then they start scoring 70 points at half, and you're like, you're fucked either way. So it's just very hard to figure it out. So this I will. I'll just say I'll take the under in the game. Bet very small if you're listening to me. But I'm betting the defense, basically. All right, everybody. Have a good day. Take care. Good luck if you're betting tonight. Otherwise, thanks. Yeah, Bobby, it should be tomorrow. Although I do have the dentist at 2, so it could be like 11 to 1:30. Maybe I can do it earlier, knowing I have to go to the dentist. It's just a cleaning, and we'll go from there. Then I gotta do my laundry for the trip. Jenna's like, no stains on your shirts. I go, I eat like a slob. I'll eat, and and then it stains your shirt, and it makes her look bad. She's with the guy that stains his shirt, so it's all about making her look good. So I told her, don't worry, I'm gonna wash, and I'll bring my razor, and I'll bring my hair color and all the stuff that I didn't bring. I was scared to bring it because I don't know if they'll let you on the plane with liquids and all this shit. Like my polo, aftershave. Are they going to let me on the plane with it? So we will see. All right, everybody, have a good day. Relax, enjoy, and watch the tells. Everybody gives you the tells. Just watch them. All right, back to rounders. All right, take care.